What is up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope you guys had a good week. Happy to see you guys here. It's going to be a good show. We got a lot of good videos to look at today. Some old and some new. Hopefully, let's see, is Mystic here? Hey, Dulcinea, Jim Carrey, Moxbox. If I didn't see you on my little thing, stole my husband's Jeep. What up? Happy Friday. Yes. Hopefully the audio is good. Checking my monitor. There we go. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I am your host, Matthew McKim. And like I said already, not to be redundant, it's going to be a good show. As you guys get in, please do me a favor. Please hit the like and the subscribe. It is how you can help support me and this community and help it get to new people. You'd be surprised how many people, when they find the channel, they're like, I can't believe we've never found the channel before. So happy we found the channel. And then once they participate in a live and they get to experience this community and all of you find people, they go like, this is like the best place on YouTube. I go, yeah, it really is. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, and yeah, tell your friends. Why not? Tell your friends as well. Share the channel with people. Share the love. So, all right. Let's see. The thumbnail and the title. So I kind of didn't realize how big of a thing it was until I saw, I think it was Just Jessica is her thumbnail. She gave a super chat to Baron and was like, you got to check out the Black Line Brief. He showed that some of the pastors, the Calvary Chapel pastors, were putting pressure on Charlie to marry Erika. And I guess it kind of like, I noticed it, and obviously I touched on it. But really the significance, the real significance of that kind of, it didn't hit me until I started thinking about it more and more and more. And I found more. Okay. And we know too that Frank Turek comes in the picture in 2020. Erika and them get married in 21. Frank Turek, Rob McCoy, Jack Hibbs, and James Kaddis came into the picture, came into Charlie's life after Erika Kirk, but we're all giving Charlie counsel, Christian advice from married men that are successfully married, right? Not divorced, and have kids that are, happy, healthy, and following God. Not to mention they're all pastors in their own right. Like Frank Turek's not a traditional pastor. He does apologetics, but nonetheless, right? These men who, right, when people give you advice and they're counseling you, first you want to know, okay, do I respect this person in the area in which they're giving me advice, right? So if the person's not financially successful and they're giving you financial advice, maybe don't listen to them. If a person doesn't have a job, right, and they're unemployed for a significant amount of time, maybe don't take their career advice. Likewise, with Christian pastors who are giving Charlie advice, it's going to be received by Charlie. It just is, especially at the time in which this all happened. There was no reason for Charlie to suspect any kind of, ulterior motives from them. And they all do have successful marriages, kids, and churches, congregations, and they shepherd their flock for decades, right? And so these men urging Charlie, and I get it, it doesn't have to come across, like they don't even have to say it in a way where I think some people, when they heard this statement by Jessica and by me, were interpreting it like they were like, over the top about it. It doesn't even have to be like that, or like directly like pushing him, like threatening him, or, being aggressive or confrontational about it. It really just has to be over and over and over and over again from all of them at separate times and together for Charlie, and who probably was already thinking, I want to be serious with Erika. I'm falling in love with Erika. She seems to be a good Christian, da. But to then also get constant like affirmation, confirmation from, messengers of God, right? Like anointed pastors, it would do a lot to push Charlie to be more sure of this decision, especially if he was having any doubts or reservations, or if he was having any hesitancy about the time frame, how long. And we do know that Charlie said he didn't believe in long engagements because the potential to fall into premarital relations and to mess up your covenant before you make it exists, and that long engagements he wasn't a fan of. However, nonetheless, I do think it's important to note that all of these pastors are Calvary Chapel pastors, which is the mocking pastor, like Mockingbird, right? Like the press, like the CIA infiltrated the media. Well, they did the same thing with church, okay? And the main one that they did it with, at least from my own experience and understanding and knowledge, one of the main ones they did was through Chuck Lorre and Chuck Smith and Greg Laurie through Calvary Chapel, right? And a lot of these guys they have ulterior motives. Like we're going to hear James Kaddis go all out, and this is at the same time frame with Erika Kirk, and this is the same time frame when she goes to meet with Tucker with Charlie, and is supposedly like really anti-Israel. Oh no, I got in the habit of saying that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, you guys. I really don't want to limit my speech. Honestly, I don't want to censor myself. But like, if I was a big channel, you could kind of say and do most anything. There's certain things you just don't cross when it comes to community guidelines, but there is a reason why like smaller channels like are smarter about not saying that. And in my own experience with my own videos and stuff, when I say certain words like that, the videos end up not doing good. Maybe those videos sucked. Maybe I just suck. I don't know. Nonetheless, she's going, and so is James, like full Philly. I'm just going to say Philly for now. Full Philly support. And that's supposedly the same time frame when she goes over to Tucker with Charlie and is like anti-Philly. And it just shows how fake she is. But going back to my point is that these Calvary Chapel pastors are so pro-Philly. It's like they're not even trying to hide it. Okay? That is one of the things that they preach continuously from the pulpit. Jack Hibbs said in his interview with Frank Turek, he's got thousands of sermons on why it's biblically why we must as Christians support Philly and how the Bible backs that up. And he has done thousands of sermons on that. And all you would have to go is go look at the library. It's a fact. And that goes for all of them. Okay. And Frank Turek, we know, went right to Egypt and right to Philly after September 10th. Obviously, he was there like doing stuff, not related to it. But nonetheless, it's weird timing, right? With all the Egyptian planes. And we know that Egypt is like a launching pad for the Mossad and their operations. Okay. So these guys all urging, constantly reinforcing, you got to marry Erika. You better marry Erika. She is a godly woman. God is going to bless you through you marrying her, which then the opposite would be true. God is not going to bless you if you don't marry her. God is going to do amazing things through your marriage, through Erika, in your organization, in your ministry. And if you don't, even though this part wasn't said, and if you don't, but it's implied, and if you don't, well, God's not going to do those things because he's going to do those things through Erika and your marriage. And this was said over and over and over again. And we're going to see this. And so I definitely think it is important. The more that I reflect on it, it is very important to think or to realize that these pastors who hold such a significant place within Christians' hearts and minds as men of God that speak on behalf of God, right? They're up on the pulpit. They're reading the word of God, and they're telling the congregants and, the community what God means, what God wants for his people collectively and individually. And so the same token is when you're meeting with these pastors one-on-one and they're telling you something, you better realize that that's coming from God. Okay. And so it is significant that all these pastors simultaneously were pressuring Charlie Kirk to marry Erika Frantzve at the time. That's why it's labeled that, because it was at the time it was Erika Frantzve. And here's what's crazy is, aside from like James Kaddis, I don't know how long like Greg Laurie and Frank Turek and Rob McCoy knew Erika. James seems to have known her longer, but then told a weird story that he met her. It's so weird. These guys, just like Erika, say conflicting stories about about a lot of things, but in this case, about like how and when he knew Erika, when he met Erika. And so it's so hard to parse it out. They're telling different stories, just like Frank telling different stories about September 10th. All right, enough out of me. We're going to get started. One of the first things we're going to look at today is a new clip that just surfaced of Erika Kirk. She was filmed today doing a TPUSA education, and this wasn't on the script for tonight on the show, but it's a short clip, and it's freaking nuts. So we'll watch that, and then we'll dive right into the video breakdowns that I have lined up for you, and it's going to be amazing. So let's do it. Let me start this over.
Erika, we're just so grateful for you, and only God knows all that you have been through. I mean, many of us pray for you every day. We just so are appreciative of the way that you have persevered under amazing adversity and slander and ridicule and criticism. It's unbelievable. I don't know how you could do that except apart from a relationship with the Lord.
It's all. My only strength comes from God. That's it.
I don't think so.
You look at things a lot differently and through a completely different lens when something like this happens. It's the only way you can. This is obviously spiritual warfare on a completely different level that I could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Erika is like the biggest like victim mentality individual. She is squeezing every last drop out of this, right? Like more than I ever could have imagined. And though losing your partner is the like most tragic thing, besides losing like a child, that I think that might be more tragic. Losing like a young child would be like one of the most tragic things. But I mean, I could give her the grace of that statement for her individually would be true if she had actually shown like grief and sadness and brokenheartedness. But all you got to do is go back and watch that video from 5 days after the assassination when she is like all smiles, like, oh my gosh, look at all those emojis. I didn't know you could do all those things on Zoom. And then, you know, like Charlie's in heaven. Like, I mean, just that whole thing. That's just one example, but there's like a million of Erika Kirk not being a grieving widow.
and like I've said before, I have seen the worst of humanity, but I've also seen the best of it. And in this moment, I really feel that the Lord has really put a hedge of protection around my children.
That's weird she started with that. Nobody has come after your children, Erika. It's super strange. You guys all focus on this. Like James said this in the video with you that we looked at last week. Like, oh, the devil hates your children. Like what? He hates her children more than our children? Like her children are special or more special than ours? But I don't even think that's even a true statement. Like, okay, like, yeah, the devil hates all saved people and their children. Okay. But like they really drive this point home that like, that the children are in danger, that the children have been threatened, that we have attacked the children. No, we haven't. Neither is Candace, neither is Barron, neither is Zach. Nobody has on our side. And any scumbag that does is not attached to us. So, but I don't even know that I've heard any actual reporting that like there's been any real substantial, legitimate like threat or, you know, danger. You know, I just feel like this is another victim, like sympathy card thing that they play.
Myself, from the standpoint of just guarding my mind and my heart.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I've said this before, when you, and those of you who have gone through grief and have lost someone that you love so deeply.
So at this point, she turns to the audience, like she's talking with him. She's talking directly with him. Yes, it's in front of the audience, but at this point, when she's like, she's really got to sell this point. So I'm pretty sure they told her ahead of time, like, when you say this part, turn and look at people in the crowd. Make eye contact with them. One of your biggest critiques has been that you're not genuine. You're not relatable. You're not likable. You're not personable. You gotta fix that, Erika. So when you say this, turn, look at the audience and look at them in the eyes, and then say this statement.
When you kiss the person you love so much goodbye for the last time, there is nothing that anyone can ever say or do that could ever hurt you.
That's total BS. That's total BS. Okay, like I get it that like losing your partner is one of the most painful things ever. Losing your kids, a young child, I think would be worse. Equally bad. I mean, they both suck. I would never want that on my enemies or anyone that I know or myself or anything like that. Okay, but what I'm saying is, you would still, yes, that is the gnarliest pain, right, that we could probably experience as humans, but you could still get hurt by people. And furthermore, she has said that she's been hurt personally by like Kaddis and by the allegations and by the conspiracies and by the nonstop attacks and all of that. Like they've all said that themselves. So it's like, oh, okay. So like you're the ultimate victim. You hold the victim card over everyone. And now what? You're like a superhero that could never be offended. You could never get your feelings hurt. It's just not true. It's just not true objectively.
And the freedom of that is unbelievable, because for me, this is so much more. And Hutz, we've talked about this before.
Wipe that tear.
Turning Point USA, Turning Point Education, all of our different programs. This is so much more than just an organization. This is what my husband fought for and what he believed in and what he wanted other.
Oh my gosh, it's so fake. Watch her mouth and her smile and like her delivery, her affect is what we call it. Look at her facial expression. That is how human beings convey the emotion that is supposed to be tied to the words that they're saying. And for Erika, there is a large, major Grand Canyon-sized disconnect from the feelings that we're expecting to see on her face to accompany the words that are coming out of her mouth. And they just don't pair together. Why? How is it that we can't see the emotion in which she's saying she's conveying with her words? Because it's not there. Either sociopath or psychopath. I don't know. Maybe both. I don't know. No, one or the other.
People to be inspired by and with and through. And so that's why being able to see all of this happen around us, I'm like, that's just noise. It's the enemy trying to distract all of us in this room, all of our students. It's trying for them to create a divide and
No, and I'm going to stop. Sorry. No, we have legitimate questions and concerns about what happened at September 10th. I mean, at UVU on September 10th. Like real legitimate ones. Like, Erika, can you please release the videos and the audio? Erika Kirk, TPUSA. There's the video from in front, there's the video from behind, and the audio from the mic. If you have nothing to hide, right? And if this is all just noise, then release it. Release it. Because you know what? What it looks like is we, the people, are more invested and concerned about who killed Charlie Kirk and how and why. The method, we want to know. And the fact that you are not even the slightest bit curious or interested in finding answers for the discrepancies that are all over the Fed slop narrative. And the fact that you just eat that up with a straw, you're just souping it up. That's not how you say it. Sipping it up is insane. And this isn't noise. Most of us, as far as I know, are Christians who cared a lot about Charlie, care a lot about this country, and we want to know. We want to know what the heck happened to Charlie, and you don't. That's not noise. That's not noise, Erika. The fact that you're saying that's noise is insane. And Candace Owens is not attacking you either. She sat down with you. You lied to her. She asked you questions. Actually, in fact, before that, she agreed to debate with freaking Blake Neff and Andrew Colvett. And then they freaking backed out. And then the emergency meeting happened with you and you flew out to her. She would, in my opinion, would rather like all of you sit down and meet with her and just allow her access to any documentation, internal documents from Turning Point, any of the videos from that day, any of the audio. And she would just like to be part of finding out what happened to Charlie Kirk with you guys. But the fact that you guys have positioned yourselves to be against her and against all of us that are investigating and looking into what happened to Charlie Kirk shows that there's something else going on with you and Turning Point.
Vision between something that is so united, and it would be such a disservice to everything that Charlie built if we focused on that and we didn't focus on actually building and moving the needle.
Moving the needle, her little slogans. You guys, it would be a disservice to Charlie if you all kept asking questions. If you all keep looking into Charlie's assassination, that's a disservice to Charlie. He wouldn't want that. Charlie wants us to move on. He wants us to build, move the needle. Come on, keep the Republican Party together. Turn out for the midterms. What are y'all doing? Don't look into who killed me. I'm not worried about it. Why are you? What? Are you kidding me? This lady.
And making a difference in this country. And so when you hold that perspective of this isn't earthly, like you have to keep your mind and your heart and your mission heaven focused. And for me, that's all I'll ever be focusing on is that. And it's just an honor to be able to have you and the rest of the team and all of you guys in this room and our students and all of our other supporters, being able to be a part of that mission, because it's so much bigger and greater than just
looking into Charlie's assassination. What a piece of work.
us at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we all want to know what the heck happened to Charlie, and you don't. Please make that make some sense for me. All right. All right, here we go. James Kaddis, Erika Kirk, and this is in July 2025. Okay, so that's the time frame. All right.
Welcome to Bible in 365 live Q&A. Well, it's not live, but it's kind of live. I am with the amazing Pastor James Kaddis.
So it didn't start with Mikey McCoy, ladies and gentlemen. They've been using this on to introduce all of them one another for a long time. This is just how they introduce one another. The amazing, the miraculous, the general James Kaddis. Give me a break. Kim McGeesey. I am so bad at this, you guys. You're doing a fabulous job trying to untangle this psyop. It is Mind Freak Tragedy. Blech, sorry. May the truth for Charlie Kirk prevail with your help. Thank you so much, Kim. Kimadu. Komodo. I'm so bad at this. It's you know, like when you see like a personalized license plate and you want to try to solve it, you want to try to see if you can like figure out what it says. That's how I feel about the handles. I'm always trying to figure out what it means. Okay, let's continue.
In the flesh, I am in the studio.
I'm so happy. Like from end to end. Like I even had a bunch of recording earlier today, and I'm like, I cannot wait to get this over with because I'm going to get to see Erika.
Can this guy just please? He can't. I mean, I know he can't because we've watched him, I don't know, a half dozen times, and every time I see him, like He is too over the top with her. And Frank's the same way. And so is Rob. And so is Jack Hibbs and Greg, all of them. I don't understand what it is. They have their wives. Okay. And it's like, she's not your daughter. It's just bizarre. It's really, really weird.
This is wild.
I'm happy.
I'm stoked.
And you're going to kill it tonight, by the way, with the ladies. You're going to do such a great job.
I pray so.
We're going to look at that video next. So this was filmed on July 14th, 2025. That's right at the same time frame when that's after, the Young Women's Leadership Summit that was in June 2025. Then we have the Student Action Summit in July 2025. Now she's at the Signal Hill Calvary Chapel with James Kaddis filming this Bible in 365 show. And then later tonight, and we're going to look at it here, it's our next video, she is speaking there to the women. And it's going to be great. We got to give a shout out. My wife sat through that, and she's the one that pulled all the timestamps for that. We divided and conquered on this. We got like 3 videos of these people lying and spreading this information and being just not normal. And so you guys can thank my wifey for doing that, but that'll be next. But that's what's the context of this. And this video is filmed right before she goes to Tucker Carlson to film with Charlie Kirk for his interview or his, podcast with Tucker Carlson. And that's where that conversation happened that Candace just broke this week. Oh, and I have that. I got to pull that up, where she tells us that Tucker told Candace, because she came right after, that Erika was anti-Philly. You're not going to get that impression in this video. So what does that tell you? Not an honest, genuine person.
I pray so. I'm really excited. We have the Summer in the Psalms, a women's Bible study gathering.
This
evening.
Yeah. And we're a full house, by the way, completely booked out. There's no more space.
Wow. They're all here to see Nicole.
No, sweetheart. Look, they love my baby. I can promise you that they love my baby, but I think they're very excited to see you. I mean, you are very loved, and you know what? It's true. You have a real call and a gifting on your life. I tell this to people oftentimes. They'll come to me. They get, Pastor James, I just shared. I just spoke. What do you think? Did I do? And I've told many people, you don't have the call on your life. Like, you're really not gifted. Like, you probably shouldn't do this. I didn't even have to hear you speak the first time I met.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I was pulling up another video. That's what you heard in the background. That was the audio from that. My apologies. Doing the most. Okay. I'm just getting things pulled up. I found the clip of Candace retelling the story. I'll play it in a minute, but okay. I stole my husband's Jeep. If my husband fangirled over another woman like this guy does, would not go well. How about you? Yeah. No. And he does it time and time again. Now he's saying that other people that may want to be like content creators or speak and public speak for Christ, he's like, nope, God's not called you to this. You suck. You need to sit down and shut up. But he's like, but when I met Erika, he goes, I didn't even have to hear her speak. Okay, then what was the basis for your judgment? You just looked at her? You didn't hear her speak. Then how did you determine that God had a calling on her life to speak? You just looked at her. That's freaking weird. So now you're saying that your basis for determining whether or not God has got a calling for her life to be a Christian public speaker was just looking at how gorgeous she is? Like, what? All right, dude, continue, I guess.
You just in conversation, I'm like, you're called. And I don't know if you remember this, but I told Charlie on that first day.
Erika loves this, you guys. You guys want to know like the psychology of Erika Kirk? She's been around all these older men that are fawning over her. These older Christian married pastors that are like, you're just like my wife. Oh, you are my wife. You're as gorgeous as she is. You're as as called as she is, you're as gifted as she is. That's what he did last time. He's like, he compares Erika to his wife, like time and time again. And then he compared himself to Charlie. It's like, it's just like, you're just going to flip roll. Like what? Frank Turek and Jack Hibbs did the same thing on their sit down recently. And I'm not making a big deal out of nothing. Like that's something. I'm a dude. I'm a man. I'm a married man. I have a wife. Never would I ever. Not ever. Never. What? These guys.
I'm like, don't be stupid. Marry her.
Charlie. So there's the first part, right? From those of you that haven't seen it yet, the Many Faces of Erika Kirk video that I did before, every single time this dude sits down with Erika, he tells a story different, but the idea is the same. He was telling Charlie, you better marry her or you're an idiot. You better marry her or else someone else will. You better marry her before God takes the blinders off of her, because the blinders are the only reason why she's interested in you. So you better do it now. And God's going to bless you through her, not on your own, because God clearly didn't have a calling for Charlie by himself. God wasn't blessing Charlie by himself. No. If you don't marry her, your ministry, your organization, your future will not be blessed. Marry her or else. That's the message James is continually pushing. Frank and Jack did the same thing. Okay? I haven't found something on Rob yet, but I'll get to it. You just wait your turn, old Rob McCoy. I'm coming to take care of you. All right. Train. My brother is a Marine. Recon Raider. Right on. Ben sub since 4K. Keep it up. Keep up the good work for Charlie Kirk, showing some love from Duval County, Florida, and keep diving deep. Thank you, my man. Right on. A Recon Raider. That's a good one. I was stationed at Camp Pendleton and had a lot of friends that were in Recon. So, you know, you have Force Recon in the Marine Corps, which is like it's like MARSOC, Force Recon. Is like our version of our Special Forces group in the Marine Corps. So it's a pretty prestigious, title. All right, let's continue.
He's like, I don't even know you. What are you doing telling me this?
So that's even weirder, right? I don't even know you. So that's back to what he just said. Let me back it up just so we hear that and we get the context.
Don't be stupid. Marry her. Charlie's like, I don't even know you. What are you doing telling me this?
So make sense to me. These pastors come into Charlie's life by, through, with Erika, and immediately they're telling him, you better marry Erika. Don't be stupid. Marry her or else. It's nuts. He didn't even know Charlie. Felt the audacity to just tell him what to do.
And you know what? You are a great communicator.
Did you hear that? It worked. It worked, guys. The pressure worked. You're a good communicator. James, if you want to tank your credibility any more than you already have, just keep telling Erika all the things that us normal people with brains, eyes, and ears have determined, like the very first time we saw her speak, that she's not a good public speaker. She's not. Okay? The fact that you're telling her that just shows how, like, you are just right up there.
You're very gifted. And I love your heart for the Lord. It's wonderful. Anyway, I got to get you a little closer to the microphone.
Okay.
Because I can hear it when you fall out. So.
Oh, well, I don't want to fall out.
Your voice.
Yes. So we're going to hop into some lifestyle questions because those are the ones that everyone's been wanting for us to go through.
She goes with the eyes. With the lifestyle questions.
So I'm going to actually start from the bottom and work our way up because I think it's easier to go that way at this moment because I'm not quite sure where we're at on the top of the list, but I can start from the bottom of the list. So let's see here.
Just literally start at the bottom, like the bottom one.
I know.
Sorry.
All right.
Could have muted him when he did that.
This question's from Lilith.
Okay.
How do I continue to witness to a Catholic friend who believes that she was saved because she was born into the Catholic family and remaining saved is a lifelong process of good works? I shared with her through scriptures that our salvation is based on God's grace alone through our faith in Jesus Christ. It is a personal decision that each of us has to make to accept or reject Jesus.
Yeah.
And this is interesting. All right. Okay, I'm gonna play it. Just hold on. Remember, so in July 2025, Charlie is, in my opinion, I believe what's his name? Something Epps, the guy from Catholic for Catholics. He was on Barron's show. He went on Zach Costello's show and said, no, Charlie was taking the, conversion classes. I forget the acronym. There are certain classes to become Catholic. And he confirmed that Charlie was not just, in awe of the architecture and the, Orthodox traditions of the Catholic Church. He was converting. And I believe, honestly, some of the reasons why he was converting is because they are anti-Zionists. All right. Like hardcore. Okay. The priests, for the most part, besides that stupid one that was helping Erika con potential donors, and he got this girl, this lady that was at the memorial to be able to sit next to Erika and then donate money. So besides that priest, I would say the most of them aren't going to have the kind of ulterior motives like a lot of these Calvary Chapel pastors that I think, and Candace reported this too, he was fed up with Frank Turk, Rob McCoy. We know for a fact those two is what Candace said. But I also believe, Jack Hibbs and James Kaddis. Okay, because they're all the same little group, Calvary Chapel pastors, and they're all pro Philly. They were all going to be texting Charlie, "What are you doing, dude? Why are you saying what you're saying?" Like Lori Cardozo Moore, God's going to lift his hand of protection over you, Charlie. Don't be counted among the Edomites, Charlie. Not a good idea. Guaranteed, he was fed up with these guys telling him what to do in regards to Philly. And so now we're going to hear the same time frame in July. What is Erika going to say or not say when James starts talking about Catholicism? Let's hear.
So the answer to your question is predicated upon your question itself. This is the one thing that I would say. Catholics have something that Protestants don't always have. Okay. What they have is they have this love for what I would call the traditional, maybe a style of liturgical worship that I wish we had in Protestantism. I think we've kind of walked away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the reason why the Catholic mindset sits or centers around the idea that your good works provide salvation happens to really fall into the liturgy, the way that they choose to worship. Now, this kind of reminds me of a conversation that I had with my sister-in-law, her father, who has since gone to be with the Lord. He was an adamant Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
When he would come to town, the first thing he would want to know is where they would have the men's study at the local Catholic church,
Mm-hmm.
because he was one of those Knights groups.
Oh yeah.
And he also,
like Knights of Columbus.
yeah, right.
That's interesting. She points that out. Knights of Columbus, which is, you guys know what Knights of Columbus is, yeah? Put it in the chat if you do or you don't.
And he also wanted to know, all the details about the local parishes. And he would go to church. He would go pray every morning. He would every night. One day I sat down with him because I was really worried about him. And I said, Gus, I don't want to talk about Catholicism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Protestant pastor. I don't want to talk about any of that stuff. I just want to talk about your core belief. I want to know, what do you believe about salvation?
Mm.
And when you have a conversation with somebody like this, you start it there.
Mm.
And what you ask is what their core belief is. If you can articulate that your salvation is predicated upon one issue and one issue only.
I don't know why he does this with his face all the time, with his eyes. Yeah, Catholics are Christian, bro. They believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, that he came and he died on the cross for all mankind's sins, and that you have to put your faith in him in order to be saved. Like, what?
And that is your faith and trust in Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
everything else is easy. So let me help describe this a little bit. When you become a believer, the reason why you become a believer isn't because you or are saved, isn't because of anything you've done.
Yeah, we know that.
Here's the reality. According to what we read in the Bible, you cannot go to heaven unless you have fulfilled the Old Testament law. You have to fulfill it perfectly.
Yep.
You cannot break one iota of the law and go to heaven.
Yep.
So Jesus lived that life perfectly. He fulfilled every letter of the law, as he said, every jot and tittle. And the Bible says that you take off your robe of righteousness, which Isaiah describes as a filthy rag, a dirty menstrual cloth. You take that off and you put on Christ's robe of righteousness. So what happens is you go before the Father in heaven, and he says, well done, good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your Lord. Why? Because he sees you as having lived the law of God perfectly. Now, was it you that lived the law of God perfectly? No. It was Christ who lived the law of God perfectly. And when you put on his robe, you now get credit for that. There's not a single Catholic in the world that will tell me that Jesus did not live the most righteous and pure life.
Yeah, we know that.
That's true.
Yep.
And if you are willing to understand and accept the fact that it is the work of Christ that gets you into heaven, and your faith and trust in him for that work, nothing else matters. At that point, you don't have to argue liturgy with a Catholic. That, like, you just don't do that. Now, things get dangerous when you start saying that Jesus isn't the only way, and there are other gods that can get you to heaven, like Pope Francis recently iterated.
So he just said that Pope Francis said that there's other ways to God and that there's other gods. That's crazy.
But the reality here is, do you have your faith and trust in Christ? If they do, then my only advice to you is don't argue anything else.
Yeah. All right. That was the part that I wanted you to hear him say, and put words in Pope Francis's mouth. But all right, I'm not here to defend the Pope, but he definitely didn't say that. All right, here we go.
In some way.
Yes, there are demon-possessed people today. They are real. I have interacted with demon-possessed people.
Okay, this is going to be crazy. And what's interesting, guys, is remember, like, they're saying that we are demon-possessed. That's what they're saying we are. They're saying Candace Owens is. Erika Kirk and her ilk, like Andrew Colvett, Blake Neff, and, Lisa Knows, Gary Melton, Graham Allen, Tracy, Dana Laish, all of them. They are all claiming that we are all demonic, and that the only way, and she just said it actually in that video that we were just watching of her that we started with, that this is not earthly, right? And that's implying from the scriptures, like, we wage not with flesh and blood, but with, principalities and spirits from the unseen world, right? I messed it up a little bit, but paraphrased. She's saying it, that this whole, and that was in the context of the noise that she's experiencing, which is all of us questioning the narrative and questioning her motives, her actions, her behavior, her words, and everyone at TPUSA. And by doing so, now we're demonic. Okay. And you're going to listen to him and his little story about demons, and it's just whatever. It's interesting. Hey, while you guys are at it, real quick, we have over 553 people. Woohoo! Right on. Can you guys just do me a favor while you're here and just hit the like and subscribe? Thank you. Thank you very much.
The only way to deal with a demon-possessed person is to get them to put their faith and trust in Christ after the Lord has exorcised the demons. And
that's not true. That's not true. Jesus casted demons out of people. He cast demons out into the spirit, the demonic spirits, into the swine. And he says, as I have done, so shall you do. Everything I have been able to do through the Holy Spirit, you will do the same. So I don't know why he's saying that. Like, we, whether you're Catholic or Protestant, Catholics definitely believe that there is a process to become a specific kind of priest, an exorcist, to be able to exorcise demons. Okay. And that's fine. I'm not saying that they're not correct in having it that way, right? It's probably a very dangerous thing, and you probably want to be very experienced, right? But And I don't believe in the Victor Marx approach, right? That he can just get up there and be like, oh, how many, talk to the human, the actual, personality in the person and be like, how many demons you have in you? And like, okay, what are their names? And, oh, now I'm going to command this angel to cast them out and bind them and chop them up and throw them away. I don't believe that either. And I don't believe that James is what he's saying as a pastor, that the only thing that could exorcise demons is God by himself, not God through us. He's saying like, no, only through someone just asking to be saved and God doing it. He's saying that there's no other way. And I don't agree with that.
The only way that happens is by saying, Lord, this is your deal. You handle it. And most people think they've been in front of demon-possessed people and probably haven't. When you're in front of one and you're a believer, you are. It's crazy. The last time I had interaction with somebody who was demon-possessed, it was over the phone.
Okay, so if you're on the phone with someone, chances are they know your name, right? Right? Like, just follow me on that, right? He's on the phone with someone. Chances are they know each other, or at least they introduced their names to one another at the beginning of the conversation. Okay, I asked that for a reason.
And when we started asking the Lord to exorcise the demon in this person, the demon was like, you have no authority. And they knew my name. You have no authority.
Probably not exercising over the phone is probably a good idea too.
James, I watched you when you were driving down, the freeway at this.
Hey, so you were on the phone with him. He knows, or she or it or whatever knew your name and then said your name back to you. Whoa, so crazy. Look at Erika's face.
Time, and you said this and you did this. And that was like, you have to understand how crazy that feels when they start naming you and talking about things that you've done or things that they've seen.
This is a weird interaction, actually. So she's like, in my opinion, when a dude is doing something to impress someone, right? Like to impress a girl, and the girl's like not impressed, but she wants the person to think she's impressed. That's what's happening here. And I don't know why. Well, there's this going on, but like her reaction to this stupid story is insane, right? And he's loving it. Like he's like reading the room and reading her face and like, oh, this is good. Like she's into this. I'm going to keep going. Like, come on, James. She's playing you, bro.
And that's when you're just like, okay, these things are real. They're very, very
horrifying.
Yeah. And Jane, my sister, heard that conversation. Like, because we were doing a youth crisis hotline. Oh, yeah. And you just have to say, Lord, you're the one. Knock on the door. Lord, you handle it. You take care of it. And that's exactly what happened.
So
wild.
Yeah, no joke.
Story.
Holy cow. Wild.
So they are real. And you got to go to Jude.
He's so proud of himself.
9. I believe it's Jude 9. I'd have to go back and look it up. But basically where Michael the Archangel said, the Lord rebuke you. And that's what you do. You let the Lord handle those situations, but they are very real. And drugs is probably the single most powerful gateway that introduces that.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to the next one. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. Hold on. Let me see. I think I missed this timestamp. Yeah, here. Hold on.
This question's from Sandy. Recently, my pastor sort of mocked the rapture, stating some believe a secret that Jesus will come and snatch them up, leaving their clothes on the ground. I was mortified, to say the least, as I am definitely 100% pre-trib.
Yeah.
I believe in you. I think you as in Pastor Kaddis. I believe in you, Dr.
Hey, ladies, can you guys answer me a question? Do you think her blouse is like really low cut? I'm going to let you see it in a second. I'm going to go back there. But so he was like looking at that area and she's like trying to close it a little bit. She's like trying to close it. Do you think that I know it's not showing cleavage, but it's obviously on her mind. She's like trying to close it up and he was like looking in that area. I don't know. Sorry.
Andy Woods, Dr. David Jeremiah, and Dr. Charles Stanley. Is it time to leave this church?
Yeah, all brilliant guys. Unfortunately, Charles Stanley's son went cuckoo, but yeah, and I love Andy. Andy's a
and women know this too. Like, even if he wasn't looking at that area before, she's drawing attention to it. And like, women, please chime in here. I'm not a girl, but like, yeah, that's the thing girls do, right? Like, by doing that, she's drawing his eyes to that area. She's like closing it, then she's like opening it, then she's like pushing one part across, and then she's like letting it go back. She's like drawing his eyes to that area. It's nuts, right? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dulcinea. Yes. All right. I'm not crazy.
Great guy. I think all those guys are good. A couple of those guys are my friends. Yeah, I would absolutely leave.
Totally.
Especially because they don't understand what the Bible teaches. And that
this is where this guy thinks so freaking highly of himself. That's why him and Erika are good friends. Okay. You want to know why they get along so well? Because they both think that they're the best. Look, if someone believes in the rapture, like, that's not something that you should tell someone to like leave the church. Okay. Like, if someone is saying like, you can get to heaven by putting your faith in some other being other than Christ. Yeah. Probably don't want to go to that church. I'd leave. But like, you're like, so Charlie said this himself. There are closed hand issues and opened hand issues. Okay. A closed hand issue is like, your salvation is tied to the fact that Jesus Christ is the Son of God. He came down and he died for mankind's sin, and you got to put your faith in him for salvation. That's a closed hand issue. We can't debate over that. Okay. You believe that or you don't, and we can't go on. Okay. Open hand issue. You believe in the rapture. Okay. What? And he's like, no, those pastors are evil. They hate their congregation, and you should leave immediately. That's James. Nuts.
Is a doctrine of the Bible. That is not a doctrine of Schofield. That is not a doctrine of Darby. These are biblical doctrines.
So there you go. He's do you want to know where he gets some of his pro-Philly commentary ideas and theology from? Schofield. Paid, brought to you and paid for by the Rothschilds.
That the Bible makes very clear to us. We read about it in 1 Thessalonians. We read about it in 1 Corinthians. We read about it in 2 Thessalonians. Chapter 2 talks about it. We read it all throughout the book of Revelation. We see Old Testament references to it. It's a very real thing.
Yeah. Bernadette asks, God created us in his own image, but we are sinners, vulnerable creatures, and some selfish little monsters.
Yeah, it's true.
I need to when I see, this is total side tangent, those weird, when I see little monsters, I think of those weird new, they're called Labubus.
Oh, yeah.
The demonic little Labubus.
I just heard about these things.
So one of them sold for $150,000. And what happened was, it's this Japanese artist who moved to, they're like little demons that he
That's a
created.
big thing right now in a lot of the kids stuff. Me and you are kind of ignorant to that stuff because we don't give that to our kids, but
he just speaks for her. Me and you are ignorant because we're holy. We're saved. We don't let our kids buy dolls that they're saying is demonic. I don't know. I don't know what a Labubu is.
It's popular. I get questions about it all the time.
So to me, those are a form of gateway.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. They
for
invite
little
that,
kids.
Absolutely. They invite that kind of stuff.
So sick.
When you desensitize your children to demonic things, the invitation for the demonic becomes a lot more free.
Let's go to
so two of these I think can go together, Belle's and Barbara, where Barbara says, how do you balance life, family, and faith? Belle asks, how do you fully surrender to the Lord and let him guide you? I think those two can go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. First of all, I don't balance them. I make God a part of all of it.
Right.
And I think that involves extremes in some cases. That's just the way it works. So God is a part of every bit of that. When it comes to the second question,
I swear.
What was the second question?
Balance. And then the second question, how do you fully surrender to the Lord and let him guide you?
It's really simple. You look for opportunities for obedience. This is the one thing that I oftentimes remind people of, that the real answer to this principle is found in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, that tells us, trust in the Lord with all of your heart. That's the first command.
Yeah.
The second command is don't lean on your own understanding. Okay. And then it says, in all your ways, acknowledge him and he'll direct your paths. And then when you get into the next verse, which oftentimes isn't quoted, it says, be not wise in thine own eyes. Okay. Meaning don't look at yourself for wisdom. Don't consider yourself to be wise. Fear the Lord and depart.
So she's done this I thing forever. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there was a time where it really kicked off, but like, can you see her, the way she's looking at him? I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like, I'm trying to be unbiased here. I'm trying to be objective. No, that is creepy. It just is. I don't know why she does that.
Apart from evil. So the idea here is avoidance of evil driven by your fear of the Lord.
And then she's going to play with her blouse again. I don't know why she keeps doing that.
And you trusting in God everywhere you go. Acknowledge.
Why is she doing that? She's opening her blouse and then shutting it and then opening it again. If you didn't like the cut of it and you're going to a church and you're going to be on a podcast, you'd know darn well she looked in the mirror before she left. I have a wife. I know how it goes. She takes a long time to get dressed and get ready. You know how many times she changes? This is the outfit she decided was going to be a good idea to go be on film on a Bible podcast with a pastor. And she chose that. So she knew, like, she looked in the mirror, she saw it all, and she's like, nope, this is going to be good. So it's not like she like put it on and then like after the fact is like, oh my gosh, it's like really low cut. Like, what am I going to do? Like, no, her playing with it is intentional. And I'm like nearly sure of that right now.
Watch him everywhere you go. And he'll carve that path out for you relatively easily.
Totally. The next question's from Sue Ann. What was the prayer life of the early believers, prophets, and Jews?
She's like rubbing her chest. That's so weird.
Like, there are prayers listed in scripture, but I wonder how it was for them to pray. Did they have freedom to pray? Prayer is such a battle. It's so important to our walk.
All right. They don't say anything here. Let me go to my next, what is it? 18 even. We'll go right here. Right. 18 right here.
Any commentaries to stay away from?
Well, there's tons of commentaries to stay away from, and I could name them till I'm blue in the face.
Right.
I can speak about enduring word for just 1 second. David Guzik is actually a personal friend of mine, like call, text, friend of mine. I think he's a brilliant man.
And the reason why I'm letting it play with some of the things that he's saying too is because it's going to give you an insight to the people that she is very close with, that Erika was, and still currently very close with. All these Calvary Chapel pastors, and sort of find out like, what kind of counsel? What are their beliefs? What is their theology? Okay. No wonder why I think Kaddis was like, Charlie was done with these guys in the end. He was done. She's not. Her businesses are paired with James Kaddis. Okay. And one of the things that he doesn't say, and he should have said, if you really wanted to be critical of a commentary that he's about to talk about, he doesn't mention the Schofield Study Bible and the commentary notes in the bottom of that. He doesn't, of course, because it is what these guys all base their, Philly philosophy and theology on.
I think his commentaries are great. I think Warren Worsby is good. I think there's a lot of commentators that are out there that are really good, especially some of the guys from the old school that are really good. Believe it or not, I think a lot of John MacArthur's commentaries are good. There's some things that John MacArthur I disagree with. He was one of my favorite ones, believe it or not. But the one thing that I tell people is develop the discipline of being able to study the Bible using a mechanism and a method that keeps you away from the commentaries for a while. And then you go to the commentaries as kind of a
icing on the cake.
As kind of a
like frosting on the cake.
Yeah, like frosting on the cake, like just to confirm what it is that you study. Because I go through a process that I've developed with some really dear people who are brilliant people.
No, he hasn't. When you go to Bible college, they teach you the method, the inductive Bible study method. This is not his own method that he developed. Like, give me a break, dude. There is a actual like proven true method for creating your sermons and for studying scripture, right? Like with full like historical reconstruction, doing exegesis and all these things. He didn't make up his own method. Give me a break, bro. Brave New World. Haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. Member for 2 months. This both godly people are make my skin crawl. All those Philly heretics are involved in the takeover. Yep, it's obvious. Watch Erika do this with ease. Yes, snake monster, right? Is that what that is? Snake monster? Yeah, I agree.
That is a takeoff on what people oftentimes refer to as the inductive Bible study method.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, at jameskaddis.com, you could go and find this series. You can find it on.
He's got to go plug himself, just like Josh Hammer and all of them always do. Go buy my book. Go to my website.
My YouTube channel, How to Study the Bible. We're going to have a series of this ready for Bible in 365.
Amazing.
It'll be done before the end of this year.
That'd be amazing.
It's going to show you how to study the Bible, and we'll keep you away from the commentaries. You actually don't.
None of you should learn how to study the Bible through this guy or through Bible. And she's doing the I thing again. Holy smokes. Through Bible in 365 or listen to any of these pastors. Hands down, you shouldn't.
Need commentaries to be able to study the Bible and to know it well. The only time you will need something like that is reference material, because you might
I don't know. Oh, never mind.
not be familiar with certain words, maybe cultures, or certain things might be difficult to identify, and that could be very hard to be able to understand, because contrary to popular belief, understanding the meaning of a word isn't obtained by going to Webster's dictionary. You don't do that.
No
way. So there are some things mechanically that you need to be able to develop a discipline to know and understand, but with the kind of technology that we have today, it's so easy to obtain.
I'm not gonna lie, I use them for the Old Testament a
Yeah.
lot.
No, but that's okay. Listen,
Because like we were trying to go over those names, like me trying to pronounce a name or me trying to understand the geography of something.
Nothing wring with that.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think
I
that
just said to stay away from commentaries and everything. And then she's like, I do it, but I do it for this. And he goes, nothing wrong with that. For her, it's Erika. She's closer to God than all of us. Give her a break.
David Guzik is David Guzik is phenomenal. I think the gifting that David has is he brings things into practical terms. By the way, he may be right now, as we sit, the #1 viewed commentary in the whole world. Gave that to you and Charlie. You guys both have it, but it's really, really good. Book that you told me that I would have to hold on to, and there's no other book I could ever have outside of reference materials or anything. It would be a book called Haley's Bible Handbook.
Yeah,
and I gave that to you.
Right, and I looked that up. Hold on. Let me pull up. Wait, let me hit play so you guys don't have to watch me pull it up, and then I'll let you know when I'll read it.
And Charlie, you guys both have it, but it's really, really good. So all the ones that some of the ones you named are actually really, really good.
Okay, cool. One question is, why does the church normalize gay? Please.
Okay, so I looked up because being what kind of pastors they are and who is their number one, like their number one ally and who they support. I was like, this Haley's Bible Handbook, like, what is it all about? Often expects a future third temple, sees modern Philly as prophetically significant, popularized by teachers such as John Nelson Darby and later writers like C.I. Scofield. Okay. The Scofield Bible, right? Many Christian Zionists cite, this, what is it? A handbook, Haley Bible Handbook. Overall tone of the handbook, Haley would likely recognize that the Jewish people are as important in biblical history and prophecy, and view the reestablishment of the Jewish homeland as historically significant, take biblical prophecy seriously as it relates to Philly, stop short of claiming that every American Christian must endorse Philly or every Philly policy, but the modern Philly people. It's hard to say Philly when there's so many words when they're wanting to say the actual. A future temple in Jerusalem, end times events involving Philly, and the Antichrist and tribulation. That's the Haley's Handbook. Yep. Biblical Philly as a covenant people in Scripture. Yeah, okay, we know that. All right.
Such a direct.
Yeah.
Please talk about the fact that so many Christians, churches, and conservative organizations have given into the LGBTQ ideology by normalizing gay relationships and unions.
It's because they hate the people they lead.
I think
so. Here's the other thing, right? Like, He said it earlier in relation to, what was the thing that he just said about the rapture, and then here, right? And okay, whether you agree with whether pastors should be promoting or endorsing or going soft on same-sex relationships or marriage, that's not my point. But to go as far as to say that they hate them, they hate their congregation, I just find that not good.
I think we talked about this last time, where people said that Jonathan and David were gay.
Yeah, it's so unbiblical.
Because they were.
That comes from
that one verse.
That comes from westernized people who do not understand Middle Eastern culture.
Right.
They just don't. You may have noticed it when you came in. My security guy didn't catch. He didn't say hi to me today because he was out waiting for you guys, your security guys to come up. When he came in, he was doing a walkthrough with your guys. He came in, and the first thing I did when he saw him is we walked up to each other, we kissed each other on the face, and we held each other for a minute. He's a Palestinian man. Okay, we're both from the Middle East. It's our culture. That's how we greet one another.
Right.
We speak Arabic to one. I mean, that's just the way it is. People don't understand these cultures. They certainly don't understand the language that drives these cultures, and they make these ridiculous assertions about things that are completely not true. And look, when it comes to the whole gay lesbian lifestyle, any church that receives it and accepts it is a church that hates them. Because if you love them, you would do the thing that would keep them from going to hell. And that's just the reality of it. It is not biblical. And I can make a radically sound biblical argument for why it is sinful and why it's destructive and why it never fulfills on a promise.
No.
It's heavy, but it's prominent right now.
No,
even in the conservative movement,
right?
With so many people that are doing that.
All right, hold on. Let me go to the next spot.
I have a few more minutes, so I'm just going to blend all these together. Okay. So when do you think God will return to take us? I know you've answered this so many times. These are all end times questions.
Sure.
Do you believe we are living in the end times?
Yes, that's an easy one.
Yeah. Does Jesus know the day and hour of his return?
No, he says he doesn't.
Do you think we're very close to the end days? And if so, which of all are the starkest signs?
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So meaning they want me to tell the signs that we're in the last days, that type of thing. Okay. That's no problem.
I feel bad. This is why I feel bad, because you do that, because a lot of these questions that they are asked a lot.
If more people ask these questions and this
is interesting. She is like annoyed that different people have the same question, right? She's like, this is why I feel bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake the camera. It's when I'm writing on my notepad. Got to find a way to stabilize the monitor so it doesn't do that because the camera's on top of the monitor. But anyway, she's like, I feel so bad that I have to ask you these questions that people write in, and these are their honest questions and they want to know, but they're different people, but they ask the same question. I just feel so bad like that I have to do this. It's so stupid. No. Different people, have the same question.
Were answered more repetitively, we wouldn't have some of the problems we're seeing right now with all the anti-Semitic and all the other nonsense.
That makes me feel better.
So they need to be asked on a regular basis.
Okay, good. So there they are.
Okay. So I do believe we're in the last days.
So what are the starkest signs?
Yeah. The starkest signs. I think maybe what she's trying to ask is
what are the most
what are the most apparent? What are the most prominent signs?
What are the ones that are kind of in our face that a lot of people are not paying attention to, but other people like yourself are like, you guys know this is one of the key signs, and other people are like, oh, it's no big deal.
Yeah, where do you start? I mean, there's so many of them. Let me just say this. I do believe that Christ could come at any moment. I don't even think he's coming soon. I think he could come at any moment. We're past the Christ is coming soon section. I think it could happen at any moment. There's a lot of signs. First of all, perhaps one of the super signs is the reestablishment of the nation of Israel. When Israel was repatriated in 1948, it's a fulfillment of what the Bible said would have to happen, because the descriptors that we read about concerning the end times speak very vividly and powerfully and clearly of the fact that Israel will become a nation again. We just, in Bible in 365, we just went over Amos chapter 9 that talked about God planting Israel back in her land. And we're seeing it. So that's one of the powerful signs. There's many other signs. The Bible tells us about the fact that prior to the attack of Ezekiel 38, and that's when a series of nations come and attack Israel, that there will be.
This is where the rest of this is all good. Okay. Just listen to him obviously defend Philly and watch her body language, watch how she reacts, watch how she responds. Because this is the exact same month when she goes over to Tucker's and it's like anti-Philly.
Be a bunch of things that happen. One of them, namely, is that there was going to be a sweep for temporary peace. We're beginning to watch that right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching Russia grow in stature, which is the whole reason why I've told everybody, get the heck out of Ukraine. Do not get involved with the Russia-Ukraine issue because
So you want to know why? You want to know why Philly also continues to sabotage peace, right? They're trying to also make it to where biblical prophecy comes true, right? Yeah, they're just trying to control everything. It's crazy.
Bible says Russia's going to become the prominent power,
Mm-hmm.
and all we're doing is we are sacrificing lives in doing that.
Mm-hmm.
There's just absolutely no point in doing so. When we look at the increase in anti-Semitism, Zechariah chapter 12 verse 3 says that in the last days there's going to be an increase in anti-Semitism.
So you wonder why they're saying that there's a push. There's this increase. They're doing things in Philly and here to ensure that Christians that have learned the Schofield Study Bible and these biblical prophecies that must take place in order for Christ to come back, they're ensuring that they happen and that we see the signs of the time and that we get on board with supporting Philly because that's what we're supposed to do.
In the last year and a half, we have seen a 1,300% increase in anti-Semitism.
Explosion.
Since October the 7th in the first year.
Says what, the Anti-Defamation League or what?
That's after another 1,700% increase in violent actions towards Jews.
Oh, give me
As a matter of fact, there is a Bitcoin that recently sold that that was named after the couple that were recently killed, named after the killer that killed that Jewish couple, and sold almost immediately at $300,000
Are you
per.
kidding?
Oh yeah. So the increase in anti-Semitism.
Wow.
Zechariah 12 tells us that. Zechariah 14. You look at what it says in passages like, for example, 2 Timothy chapter 3 that talks about what's going to happen in the last days. Perilous times will come. And it describes, like, literally, there's even a section in 2 Timothy 3 that describes academia. Like what that, like, I mean, it's amazing. And it goes on to say that there will be an increase of persecution of Christians. We're watching that happening all over the world.
All over.
There's so many other things. We know that a temple is going to be rebuilt at that time.
There you go.
Look at what's happening on the Temple Mount. Look at what's happening with the Jordanian Waqf and what Saudi Arabia is doing. Saudi Arabia is about to normalize with Israel. Should that be a surprise? No, because we know in the last days, Saudi Arabia, Sheba and Dedan will be the ones that will actually be objecting to the attack of Gog Magog, which is led, of course, Gog is a title, presumably the leader of Rosh, Magog as we speak, Russia. When Russia attacks Sheba and Dedan, this is Saudi Arabia, they're going to say, what in the world are you doing? Why are you doing this? So all of these things that we see happening, and it's really interesting because a lot of people say that this is going to be an Islamic invasion because they see these countries being named as Islamic countries, when in reality, I say just the opposite, because I think the attack of Ezekiel 38 is going to be non-idealistically driven. It's going to be based on their desire for energy. The biggest issue driving Asian, Middle Eastern, and Eastern geopolitics right now drives around or is centered around.
Oh, man, let me get to her part. Hold on, where she's talking. No, she's still listening.
You're like, this is a sign. They're like, no, it's not.
There's a whole group of people that say Israel isn't a real country. It's not the real Israel, that Christians are the real Israel. Like, how can you say that? You have Jews living in Israel, the state of Israel. It's real.
Wow.
But you can't deny that. The Bible told us that all that would happen.
Do you think it's a majority of the people who have not been to Israel that are saying that?
Yeah, there are even people that have been to Israel that are saying that. But I think that there's
I don't know why she's acting ignorant. We know she goes right after this and goes to Tucker and is anti-Philly. It's so weird. It's so weird.
There's a deception.
That's so interesting.
A lot of it, I will tell you, Erica, in all fairness.
And the common state of Philly had nothing to do in its formation with the Balfour Declaration and the Rothschilds buying it. Buying Palestine had nothing to do with biblical prophecy at the time. They were secular political movement, right? The Elders of Zion. All right. They almost bought somewhere in like Uganda and like Argentina or Brazil. It had nothing to do with biblical prophecy. They weren't even interested in actual Palestine at the time. So that's what's really crazy about these guys. No, it's one thing.
A lot of it is people ignorant of the Bible. They just don't know.
Oh, that's us.
And the people that are teaching and leading these things don't know either.
So Charlie too? Okay, so Charlie and all of us. Okay, we're ignorant. We don't know the Bible. Got it.
And look, there's a lot of people right now in what they call right-wing social media. I call them the woke right.
Oh, he calls them the woke right. Is he the one that coined that term? No. But he's calling all of us the woke right, or the woke Reich, as BB said. What do you know? He knows BB, by the way.
That basically are saying that we're Israel and there is no real Israel. And they're saying these things, but the reality of it is they don't know what they're talking about. If the Bible slapped them in the face, they would not know what they're saying.
Really?
Right.
They don't know the Bible at all. They can't identify anything in the Bible. They don't have the discipline of studying it. And yes, I get it. You have millions of people that watch you. It doesn't make you a Bible expert. You don't know the Bible.
Look at her face.
And we have lots of people that go to Calvary Chapel Signal Hill that literally have spent their lives studying the Bible that could run miles around these people. Many of you.
So disgusting. Only Calvary Chapel Signal Hill. We know the word. None of you do. No one else does. We do. We'll tell you what it says.
You can do it. Many of you that are watching right now can do it. But because they have a following, they make these assertions, they don't know any better, and nothing could be further from the truth.
That just is the part about having a huge following and doing that. This is where my head goes.
Wow.
Is that you're going to have to stand before God.
You're going to answer to him.
And answer to that. And that is mortifying.
It's scary.
That's you,
he'll
Erika.
be not, because I know obviously pastors, they will be weighed differently, but these influencers will also be weighed differently.
Heavily.
In a similar context, because God is like, you had all of these people underneath your influence.
I gave you these.
That's so crazy. This applies to her.
These people.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And this is what you did to them.
And
that is horrifying.
And by the way, Erika, there are degrees of judgment. There are people who will suffer more than others based on degrees of sin that are committed.
Okay, so talk about that.
Yeah,
because some people think sin is sin, and it.
Well, yeah, sin is sin, right? We name it sin, but there are degrees of punishment, and the Bible tells us that. The Bible gives us clear indicator after clear indicator after clear indicator that there are some sins that are worse than others.
So let's end on this. So break that down. So what would one sin be judged differently for another one?
Well, okay, I can, there's lots of examples of this. Murder gets judged for differently.
Right.
Which is
Her eyes got all big. I wonder if they were already planning it at this time in July, Charlie's assassination, or if she knew at this time or not.
What scares me about abortion, that is a completely thing. Lying doesn't carry the same weight as murder would, for example.
Lying is not bad.
Homosexuality is a sexual sin that gets judged at a different level than fornication. They're both sins and they're both evil. And why? Because one does more damage than the other. And that damage is something you get held accountable for. If I'm a guy who didn't know God, but I tried to do good things, but I denied Christ, and I led people in a bad direction who also denied Christ and died and went to hell, my judgment would be more consequential or less consequential than Adolf Hitler. Right? And we see passages like this throughout the Bible. Jesus says, for those of you that stumble one of these little ones, better for you that you tie a millstone around your neck and be thrown in the bottom of the ocean than face the judgment that's going to come.
So what about all the Jews that deny Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior? what about all of them that can't even say, they're not even allowed to say his name?
What I'm going to give to you to when that happens. So we do see levels of judgment. We even see levels of judgment being expressed with what happens to Satan and the beast versus what happens to the place where other people are held, the demons and so on and so forth. It's there. Matter of fact, the Bible actually tells us of one specific sin that God can't forgive.
Yeah, blasphemy.
And that sin actually is what's called the blasphemy. If you committed that sin, I can make a solid biblical argument that you haven't committed the sin. Why?
Yeah.
Committed the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit.
So I wonder if a Satanist who
This is interesting.
did that, who said that, and then they say that they now have given their life to Christ. I don't know.
I think she asked that question because honestly, a lot of these individuals are involved in satanic worship and practices, right? And it was even proposed that the assassination of Charlie Kirk was like a satanic ritual, much like 9/11 was, that we were all forced to watch. And she goes, well, what about someone that used to be, a Satanist and then gave their life to Christ? I don't know. I wonder if she's contemplating for herself. I don't know.
They oftentimes are the ones that don't even have a clue what committing the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is. Like, I've got to meet some of these people that were Satanists and I committed the blasphemy. I hate God, and they curse and they say all these kind of things. No way. God gets hold of their hearts. They haven't committed it. If they say, I put my faith and trust in you, Christ, the condition of their heart would never lead them to do that if they committed blasphemy of the Holy Spirit.
Here we go.
There's no way.
We're going to get to.
Wow.
I don't see theological evidence for that. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. So I do think that people who are social media influencers who lead people in that direction, yeah, you're going to have a lot to answer to. Enjoy your money.
Like
that is horrifying.
I know it is. It's truly horrifying.
For you.
It's truly horrifying.
Wow.
That's why, like, I'm very careful even about pastors that become influential in social media. Every single time I have another follower that signs on the YouTube or the audience grows, like, don't think for 1 second I'm not aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Erika, all of you.
We have millions of people that watch us every single month on YouTube alone, and don't think for 1 second the weight of that doesn't, like, horrify me.
Yeah.
But
because God has, I know, but God has an expectation. Like,
Right.
Stop.
If I say something that's not accurate, even if it isn't a biblically based statement, like, I want to know I was wrong, guys. I just want you to know, like, I don't care.
Yeah, we know.
Because that's millions of souls in
Oh
your
yeah.
head.
I'm not going to influence anybody. I don't want to influence anybody the wrong way.
Wow.
It's a scary thought.
Wow.
I'm not going to get into vivid detail about this, but this is the reason why I think God's given Charlie so much influence, because there's very few people in this world that know how seriously Charlie takes this. Very few people in the world. I know.
Yes, you do.
I'm telling you, like,
Wow.
I'm very proud of him for that reason. And that's why he's always going to do well. But
That's
yeah, it's
wild.
scary. It's really scary. Like, I think about these people that have these millions of people that follow. It's scary.
That was weird. She,
Well,
was, she was looking down like that when he was talking about Charlie like that. She was like,
Note, if you don't want to be led the wrong direction, go to jameskaddis.com and follow all of his videos on YouTube. You will not be led astray.
Yeah. It's by God's grace.
Right.
That's my prayer.
goodness.
That's my prayer.
Well,
So
I can vouch for it.
yeah.
oh, wow.
It's good. Hey, it's good stuff. It's fun. But you know what, Erika, you gotta go.
We gotta go.
We're like,
okay. Love you guys.
All right, let's go right to it. This is this. Let me make sure it's up there. Okay, it is. Let me go to the first timestamp is at 3 minutes even. Am I right at 3? Almost right. I'll go right here.
This is actually really cool because yesterday I was sitting there and it's fun. We've been on the road for 3.5 weeks.
So Mikey McCoy's there with her.
And this is the last day of our trip. So we go home tonight for 2 days and then we're back on the road. And so it's so sweet to be able to end here because it feels like an extension of home, and you guys have been so incredible to us, and we just love you guys beyond words. So thank you for inviting me here, and to have Stephanie here as well. I was saying she's like an extension of having like my mom here. So it's good because my mom usually travels with us. I'm very close with my mom, and she's not here. But you.
All right, hold on. I'm going to play it. I just saw a super chat come in. What up, Charlie's Angels? Okay. Hey there. Okay. There is one from February 2025 where the topic is about a husband and father who died. The advice is discussing. All DM. Yeah, send it to me. I'm working my way backwards. So we did the one that just happened, and then we did August. Now we're in July. I think I did one out of order. I think I did one from like 11 months ago. This one, the one that we just did was 11 months ago. And then I think my wife had sent me one from 4 years ago. So we did that one out of place, but we are working our way back. But yeah, please DM it to me. What, on X? Charlie, yeah, DM it on X to me and I'll grab it. And give me a timestamp for the part that you pulled up. Okay. And I'll play it tonight. I'll play it right after while we're looking at this stuff, okay?
You are. Both of you are. So thank you. And I'm so glad that you guys are all here. I think some of you are in my Bible in 365. I know that someone messaged me about coming tonight. So if you are, thank you for being here. And
oh, wait, you know what I forgot to play? I forgot to play this real quick. So we just remember what Erika said to Kaddis, or to Tucker Carlson, about Philly, right? Because that was the context of kind of part of that video.
This July 14th date, Erika travels aboard a private flight to Long Beach, California. She's got Catherine Locastro. It's a young woman.
Whoa, now we know. We should tell her. Does everyone? I didn't know that. So the July 14th date, hold on, let me keep playing this before I talk out of turn. Hold on.
Works Turning Point USA, was at one point Mikey McCoy's assistant, Erika Kirk, who's a bodyguard, Jonathan Barcelo, who is a Marine, and she speaks at James Kaddis's Calvary Chapel Church. Now, James Kaddis is that icky guy who is Egyptian and runs Turning Point USA Faith. We need to look into James Kaddis. I've received so many emails about him, radically pro-Israel. She speaks at their Women's Summer of Psalm retreat. And there was something—
that's what we're about to look at right now.
Bothering me about this speech. And forever, it's being like, this speech is really weird because she says in the speech that this was her Sunday church. Okay, we know Erika bounces. Sometimes she's Catholic. Sometimes she's, Jewish. Sometimes she's Judeo-Christian. And this day she was Calvary Chapel. Okay. But it was bizarre to me because when James Kaddis tees up the speech, he goes on about like pro-Israel. And I was like, there's something really bothering me about this on the timeline. The first and foremost, I realized Erika didn't show up to SAS, which was unusual. Then she gets in a plane. She knows her husband is being aggrieved. She knows her husband is under pressure from Israel. She knows her husband is losing millions from Israel. Yeah. And yet she gets on stage, she gets this pro-Israel intro from James Kaddis and then talks about, how there's always war in Israel because Israel is great or whatever, and says that this speech is sort of a call to arms, and she's putting it in the context of women and dating and whatever. I'll let you take a little listen to this portion of her speech.
And interestingly enough, in his—
we're going to look at it, actually. I don't need to play that part. Let me get past where she, I think, talks about right after. Yeah, that's James Kaddis.
He's very involved in Turning Point USA. This is literally his PragerU video. I'm an Egyptian pastor who supports Israel.
Yeah.
And finally, it dawned on me. Okay. I'm going to explain it to you. Next up on our timeline. So she gives this speech, irrespective of what her husband's literally going through at this exact same time. Donors pulling out, yelling at him as soon as he gets off stage. He's telling Tucker to go Max. Anyways, the president of the United States is calling him. This is his wife. She knows this is all going on. Okay. If anybody's beefing with my husband, I'm the enemy. Like I'm like with my husband 100%. There's no halfway with that. I'm not going to say something cute to you. I'm going to be like off the Israel train immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
Right after this, on July 18th, that's when the request goes in for UVU. We still don't know who submitted that request. I told you it is literally never happened that you instantly get a spot, the first spot of a semester tour.
It's not where she talks about Tucker. Hold on, because this is a long portion. Or does she say it right after she plays the clip? Yeah, here it is.
Everything you just discussed and what's happening and everything we said there. We're talking about Epstein. And Tucker said to me, and I'm obviously, I'm not going to get this verbatim, but he was like, yeah, he talked about a SAS speech and he just said they're like, taking money from Charlie because of this whole speech. And I was like, yeah, Charlie's kind of coming over to our side. He's really had an awakening about this. It's crazy that I forgot this, but it's the second part of what he said to me. He said, I just had dinner with him and Erika. They were just here. I think he said like last night. I kid you not. They were just there in Maine having dinner with Tucker. I remember this. I am 1000% certain. Days within me, it was like Charlie was there and then I was there. And he had dinner with Erika and he said something, which is the reason why I was happy when they announced that Erika was going to be CEO, because before we could have ever known that Charlie was going to be assassinated, as we were sitting here in Maine talking about Israel and Epstein and what the pressure that Charlie was under, Tucker was like, I absolutely love Erika. He said this publicly 1,000 times, so I'm not revealing anything here. And he was like, she is like hardcore on the anti-Israel train.
Nuts.
And that she had gone in on dinner about everything. And that, this is who Erika was. And I was like, oh, wow. Like I actually never got to spend that kind of time with her. Like I know Charlie's coming to the other side, but I never really speak to Erika like that. And they had this dinner in the midst of all of this SAS stuff. And I happened to be in Maine.
Nuts. All right, let's go back here. I'm going to see if, so James' wife introduces Erika. I want to see how she introduces her. All right. Hold on. Hey, come on.
Is so sweet. Thank you, Danik, for leading us, and then hearing you, the hubbub. It's just so fun to hear you, the connections, and hear the love for one another. Well, we are so excited to have you here tonight, and those that are visiting us online. What a treat to have Erika Kirk with us. She is a blessing, and obviously, many of you know the wife of Charlie Kirk, and so just I identify in some ways of just being behind a powerhouse of a guy. It's a blessing to be that support and that encourager.
So she's comparing herself to Erika. They're all doing this and comparing her husband to Charlie. Nothing. Now, your husband's not a powerhouse, Nicole. He's a fraud.
To him, and Erika definitely is. If you had a chance or maybe didn't, I would encourage you to jump onto the YouTube channel today if you can, maybe tonight on your way home, and listen to the interview that was done between her and Pastor James this afternoon. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was him also saying that he pressured Charlie to marry Erika, and then different parts where he then defending Philly, and Erika is mum on it, and then right after that flies to Tucker and is anti-Philly. What a hypocrite. What a hypocrite.
And if you have a young single woman in your life, I would, or any age for that matter, encourage her to listen in. There was some great encouragement across the panel. There's lots of topics that were covered, but in that area specifically, I was sharing with one of Stephanie Denham is back tonight with us, but I was sharing with her of what encouragement was given towards young single women. So good stuff. So back to Erika. So wife of Charlie Kirk.
So
she has lived all over the world. So fascinating, from New York to China, which is awesome.
There you go. Lived in
She's
China.
The owner of Proclaim Streetwear. She does a podcast just as Charlie does. Midweek Rise Up is hers.
Yeah,
and I love this Bible in 365, which you can sign up for now.
Yeah, your husband's part owner. He's on the board. You're selling something that your husband's going to financially benefit from to your congregants. Nuts.
Now, all these things, get your phones out and sign up, get on the podcast, get on Bible 365. I went on today and it was.
I've never seen her speak before. Okay. So I'm like, this is my real reaction. My gut reaction is that she couldn't be more fake.
In less than a minute. It's so easy. And then currently pursuing her doctorate too, amongst all of those other things.
She's not.
So she's just amazing and as lovely on the inside as she is on the out. So let's give a big welcome to Erika Kirk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I was sitting there, and it's fun. We've been on the road for 3.5 weeks, and this is the last day of our trip. So we go home tonight for 2 days, and then we're back on the road. And so it's so sweet to be able to end here because it feels like an extension of home. And you guys have been so incredible to us, and we just love you guys beyond words. So thank you for inviting me here, and to have Stephanie here as well. I was saying she's like an extension of having like my mom's here. So it's good because my mom usually travels with us. I'm very close with my mom.
Stephanie. Do you guys know what Stephanie she's talking about? We gotta look into that.
And she's not here, but you are. Both of you are. So thank you. And I'm so glad that you guys are all here. I think some of you are in my Bible in 365. I know that someone messaged me about coming tonight. So if you are, thank you for being here. And some background on me, I'm sure she shared with you. I've been in the entertainment industry since I was 13.
Yep.
I'm currently getting my doctorate in Christian studies.
Which no, she's not, because she's still not doing it right now.
In Christian leadership. And when I was praying on this topic, because she shared with me that the conference was called, or the Bible study that you guys were in is called Flourish. And I was in Vegas for 10 days too long, praying over what I was gonna share with you guys and what God had put on my heart. And I thought to myself, this is so fascinating. I'm in Las Vegas, and the juxtaposition of how to live a godly life in a godless society, and as a female, and being in Las Vegas and seeing on steroids how toxic everything has turned when it comes to being a woman in today's culture. And it doesn't matter what age. And being able to see the way women were dressing, and lack thereof clothes, and billboards, and just the fashion that's been coming out. And I thought to myself, okay, so if you weren't a Christian, how would you even, what would be your worldly standard of flourishing? And I just prayed on it. And there's a few verses that I want to dig into today within Titus, and then also just in general with Isaiah 61 about proclaiming the gospel. So quick background on the book of Titus, if you guys are not familiar with it. It's Paul's letter.
No, we're not going to go to the background on that. Hold on. Let's go to this part. 9:14.
Charlie and I get asked all the time. For those of you who don't know, I'm married to Charlie Kirk. We both get asked all the time. And I was just talking to Pastor Kaddis about this. They'll ask us, they'll say, how do you do it? How do you stand up for truth? How do you go out there and do what you do? And I always say with all due respect, I don't know how you can't.
Oh.
I don't know how you couldn't, because you have your own territory that God gave.
Okay, so just not when it comes to his assassination and his death and the investigation into who killed him. His stance on Philly, him saying that he was afraid they were going to unalive him, the pressure from the donors and the pressure at the Hamptons, whether or not he said that he appoints you as CEO at the Aspen retreat, making a fake AI video of him saying it to be a troll and to lie, being dishonest about his support for Massey, lying about him supporting the Iran war, lying and letting people lie about him not being friends and close with Kaddis at the end. How do you not stand up for truth? You don't.
To you, and you have your own role and job to play in the kingdom, and like, don't forfeit that. And so I just think now more than ever, we need to be able to live a life where we're standing on biblical truths. We're proud to share the gospel. We're not afraid of it. I mean, literally in Afghanistan, you have Christians that are running up to the mountains trying to flee, but yet we're too afraid to share the gospel with our neighbor, or not even share the gospel, but live in a way where if you were the only Bible that someone read.
All right, now it's at 10:30. Hold on. Oh, it's like almost there anyway, right there.
Society as a female.
Oh,
and
hold on.
I have 5 points on that. And we're life in a godless society as a female.
Okay.
And I have 5 points on that. And we're going to start in Titus. chapter 2, verses 4-5. And it says, train the young women to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled, pure, working at home, kind and submissive to their own husbands, that the word of God may not be reviled.
Why isn't she doing any of those things? Obviously, she can't do the part about like loving and serving her husband because he was murdered and stolen from all of us, but working in the home, caring for her children. Why aren't you doing that, Erika?
And I know there's a lot to unpack there, and it can be kind of overwhelming because you're like, well, a lot of that is not at all what we see in the world. And that's precisely right. It's a challenge. And it's something that we can really learn how to live as a woman of the word. So here are the five points in your radical declarations on how to be a godly woman in a godless society. So we're going to go a few points that are connected to Titus chapter 2, verses 4-5. And that first one is to train the young women to love their husbands and children. How many of you in here have been married for 3 years or less? Okay. So this is what they say. They say, I'm 3 months in, so I'm, everything's good so far.
Wait, so this is 2021. This isn't the July 14th one. What the heck? All right, well, we'll continue with it, but I need to fix the dates. This is flourishing in the counterculture. This is not the same one in the Summer of Psalms.
But it's been said that the first year of marriage, the man speaks and the woman listens. And then the second year of marriage, the woman speaks and the man listens. And then the third year of marriage, they both speak and the neighbors listen. So I think we're on track so far, just staying into that. But it's so interesting because today in our culture, we have a tendency to overuse the word love, almost to the point where it's watered down. And there's something that I actually really love and respect about the Spanish language is that they're so intentional about the word love. So for a spouse, they usually say te amo. If you guys speak Spanish, te amo, I love you, for your spouse. And that's reserved usually for your spouse. And then for like a friend or cousin or something, you can say te quiero, which is, so there's two different types of depths of love. And I think it's interesting because in Titus, in this verse, he's so intentional about the type of word of love that he uses there. He uses the word philandros. And it's the only time in the New Testament where he uses this word, which is really cool because if you break apart the word philandros, philos is a loving friend, and aner, which is the husband, the companion to the wife. When you properly put those two words together, it means the special affection of a woman that she holds dear to her heart for her.
Hold on, I want to play. I think my videos got mixed up, but I'll take the blame for that. Hold on, I want to hear this. Then this seems to be from, and then I'll find it on another show. So I apologize.
You take a little listen to this portion of her speech.
And interestingly enough, in the history of Israel, as many of you guys know, because I know you guys go to a biblically based church, so you understand this, that the record of Israel is that there is constant invasion and warfare in the promised land. Because of this, the land rarely has a chance to flourish uninterrupted. And every so often when a king rises up, they unify their people, they fend off the enemies, and for a brief moment, the people can finally enjoy peace. And it's not the peace that their military brings. It's the only type of peace that God can grant, true peace, where there's lasting prosperity and the people can flourish. And so the theme of Psalm 144 is this: praise and prayer to God because of who he is, not just what he gives. So again, this psalm it's a battle song. It's a call to arms, but it's also a call to trust, and it's a call to worship, and it's a call to prepare.
Okay.
That is interesting. I think what I'm going to do is, because this other one that I was playing, the Erika Kirk counterculture, this is not the right time frame that I was using for tonight. So I'm actually going to pivot. I'll play that at a different time. Oops. I'm going to play. I have a couple other videos of her with James and another pastor. This one is from 2 months ago. So my apologies on that, you guys. Hopefully you guys forgive me. All right. Let's start here. This is her and Pastor James Kaddis. And then what's his name? It's another pastor. This is from 2 months ago. His name, well, it says April 10th, 2026. Yeah, that's April, May. Yeah, 2 months ago. What's his name? What's the other pastor's name? James Kaddis. And then, all right, he's going to say his name. It's not in the description. Hold on, it starts like right here.
365, but also the amazing Pastor Greg Denham from San Marcos Rise Church. Well, Rise Church in San Marcos,
which is where right near for where I'm from growing up. San Marcos, Vista, Carlsbad, Oceanside. It's all in the same area. I don't know who this guy is though until now.
So we're blessed to have both of you guys with us today. It means the world. But it's I have to say it's been really humbling and sweet to have the Bible in 365 family just rally around myself, my children. Your prayers have meant everything to me, as I know everyone has their own cross to carry. But I just am grateful for all of you guys and for both of you for being in my life and pouring into me and reading scripture over me and just being a voice in my life that helps always point me back to Christ. So I'm grateful for both of you, and I'm honored that our Bible in 365 family gets to hear from you guys today for our Q&A. But it's good to see you both. Pastor
Erika,
James, we miss you.
Yep.
Yeah. I very, very much miss doing this with you. I have to just say this, Erika, and my wife would not mind me saying this, but you are just absolutely glowing and beautiful. And
how gross. He says that every single freaking time. My wife would not be bothered. Look at this pastor's face. Like, that's not kind of well. Oh, don't worry. He'll do the same thing.
I think the beauty comes from what God is doing inside of you. And I think I join Greg in saying we're incredibly proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
You've just been handling yourself in a way that's just been absolutely incredible.
Nope.
And
nope.
what a testimony you've been of God's goodness.
Nope.
And we're just blessed to be able to do this, and thankful for what God is doing in you and through you. And I can tell you the best is yet to come, and we're super excited about that.
Yeah. And Pastor Greg, we had a minute this morning to catch up, and he was pouring into me about the importance of understanding fearing God versus fearing other things in life.
Right.
That's once you fear God, all the other fears in life disappear. So
that's right.
So there's
Erika, it's a huge honor to be here. And we love you so much and are so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're an exceptional, beautiful, godly, virtuous woman, and a extraordinary witness to not only women, but men all throughout the world. And I just want to quickly say, it is such an honor to be here. And I'm thinking of our precious Charlie, the most beautiful soul. He's with the Lord. And we terribly, terribly miss him. And words are really not enough. And I know he's so proud of you. And so thank you for your leadership. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Thank you for embodying that and impacting this generation. And if the Lord were to tarry, the reality is this is going to impact future generations.
Yeah.
So
we know
we're doing something super important here. That's for sure.
Yeah, we know that.
Amen. Okay, so Pastor James, I'll have you lead us in opening prayer, and
we'll skip that. Hold on, let me get to where they start talking again.
She said, I'm first believer of my family. My grandparents were not believers. My parents are not believers. My husband is not a believer. I was saved last September through Charlie. God bless you.
Oh.
A core theme that has been mentioned time and time again is the hope that we have as believers and that we do not grieve the way the world grieves. But this is not the case.
And I think this was a setup so that they could talk about how Christians grieve differently. Okay. We don't grieve the way the world grieves. And the way Erika grieves isn't normal, right? And I think this is a BS setup question.
Is for me. All I can see is a future where I'm separated from my loved ones. I know that God can do anything, and so I am praying for my family's salvation, but I often struggle to find hope. Do you have any advice? Pastor James, I'll have you start, and then Pastor Greg, I'll have you chime in.
Okay.
Yeah, the answer is not really important. We'll get to it. My wife sent me the Summer of Psalms 1 that's for the right time frame. And I actually want to see the opening that Kaddis was talking about. And we can
church to speak. Don't regularly.
All right. Let's see. I don't want to miss.
Don't regularly attend here at Calvary Chapel Signal Hill, because I know there's a few of you. I hear that on good authority. Welcome to all of you. We're glad that you're here. You know my wife, okay? She asked me to do the intro, and I'm very happy to do it. The intro comes with kind of a funny story, and I don't ever mind saying this. Charlie, when he first came to this church to speak many years ago, he came into my office and he said, "Hey, I'm going to bring my girlfriend with me." I said, "Oh, great. I'd love to meet her. This is about to be great." So Erika comes in, and of course, Erika's, like my wife, beautiful. And she comes in and doesn't really say anything. And then she starts talking to me. And I remember this like it was yesterday. She talks to me for probably all of about 4 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. And I turn around to Charlie and I literally use these words. I say, "You're stupid if you don't marry her." That's what I told her.
So you guys, I'm not kidding. Like, this is pressure from pastors. He said that and this is what's weird too. Like he says that Charlie introduced him, but like on a different video in 2026, they said that they've known each other for 10 years, which would be 2016. Erika doesn't even come into his life until 2018, into Charlie's life. So how could Charlie introduce her to him if James knew her in 2016? I don't understand that. But what's worse is, I don't know if it's worse or equally as bad, but he time and time again tells the story of how he's telling Charlie. He just said he only spoke with Erika for a few minutes. Then how would you know to tell him, "You better marry her or you're stupid"? And that's not the only time. He's like every time over their time together until he does marry her, James and these other pastors are telling him, "You better marry her. You better marry her." And you heard Erika herself just in that video that we just listened to with James. It worked. She said those words. It worked. It's just nuts. Is she anxious and trying to soothe herself by rubbing her chest, just trying to stay objective to honor God? I don't feel godly listening to them. Makes me sick. That makes me sick. That makes me sick that baby Christians believe this is of God. I agree, Gina's journey. It's sad that so many new Christians came into this, arena with Erika Kirk and all the pastors that were there, like Rob McCoy, Frank Turek, that were put up on stage. And, Calvary Chapel saw the biggest increase after Charlie's death than other churches. So, I mean, it's just nuts that's who was pushed on all of us, right? And now at least a good majority, not all, but she started her very first Make Heaven Crowded event tour was with Greg Laurie. Okay, she's doing her shows once a month with James Kaddis. Frank Turek picked up the mic and is going and doing the campus nighttime events. To say that new Christians, if they're coming and just newly saved and they're like, "Okay, I became a Christian because of Charlie's assassination. Like, who do I trust? Who do I go to?" They're gonna go to pastors that she's promoting and she's, endorsing. And a good majority of them are these Calvary Chapel pastors who are very pro-Philly. and very pro Erika and TPUSA. It's nuts. Where is it? That's not the one. Here it is.
And Charlie's looking at me like, what the heck, man? You're saying this out of the blue. I said, marry her, bro. Just marry her. So sure enough, he made a great decision. And I do remember telling Erika that the Lord was going to use her greatly, and that I knew it, that the Lord would just use her in a significant way. And nowhere did we ever think that God would do things at the level that he's done things. You know, it's remarkable because when you think about...
Look at the menorah in the background, guys. Look at the menorah. All right. Do this in remembrance of me, the menorah, in a Christian church. Okay.
Even the influence that Charlie has had, a lot of people will say that the election would not have taken place the way it did if it wasn't for Charlie.
Yeah, that's true. Let me read this. I just got another super that popped in. Just Jessica, what up? Good to see you. Thank you for your super chat. Exactly, Matt. That's why I sent out so many super chats for everyone to come watch you, because this is the start. Great job. Thank you, Jessica. Hopefully they did. I told Zach about it. I gave him a super chat letting him know to come check it out. Hopefully he did. I don't know if Baron did or not. We'll see. We'll see. Where is it? There it is.
As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know this, but at one point on TikTok alone, Charlie was the #1 viewed person next to President Trump. Billions of views, folks, not millions, billions. And I remember being on college campus with him on multiple occasions and watching how he contended not only for the faith, but contended for Israel, and watching him do it in the midst of some pretty angry kids and turning them around to actually think about things biblically. And then watching him being interviewed by somebody prominently and him saying, look, the thing I'm concerned with, I used to be concerned about the political stuff. And yeah, that's my world. I live in it. But I'm more concerned about these kids coming to know Jesus. And so to hear that, and the man that he is right now and today is a direct result of the influence that his wonderful wife has given him. And I do admittedly talk to both of them almost every day on a regular basis. But I get to do a lot of work with Erika hand in hand because of Bible in 365. And I will tell you this right now. She loves the Lord. She loves the Word of God. And she does a phenomenal job demonstrating what a godly wife should be.
Oh, my God.
And when I see her and Nicole interact on a regular basis, I'm very thankful to the Lord for that, because I think that people that are like-minded need to spend more time with one another and to think things through. And I think you're going to be blessed. By the way, Erika has done a lot, okay? She has lived on so many levels in so many different worlds where she has been successful.
She's not been successful, dude. Okay, her winning the Miss Arizona was assuring, like Trump made that happen. All right, her skill was dribbling basketballs, bro. What are you talking about? She wasn't the most beautiful girl on the stage, nor the smartest, the well-spoken, the most talented. She didn't deserve that. All of her academic accolades have been proven by Barron and Daisy and others to be false. Her companies that she supposedly started, like you're helping her run, are fake, not real. Her mom and the United States Marine Corps, sad to say, created that, Romanian Angels nonprofit front to do whatever they did over there in Eastern Europe. Her marrying Charlie isn't even another personal accolade. That was made happen by Lori and Tyler Boyer and all of you. She is a silver spoon in her mouth, trust fund baby. For a woman that speaks about building everything, she hasn't built a thing in her life. And you trying to tell all these women that they better follow her and listen to her, and like she's some sort of example of a godly woman, is just insane.
Virtually everything that she's touched, including her business, Proclaim Streetwear, and it really is a ministry. Bible in 365. is a ministry that I have the opportunity to be involved with as their pastor.
Yeah.
And we have, over the last 4 years, been able to teach everybody who participates in Bible in 365 through the Bible every year. New videos through the Bible, we teach them. We put them on a schedule where they're learning the Bible. And all of that was the vision that God gave Erika. And it's been amazing to see how many people have grown in their knowledge of the word by simply being exposed to the word. So when you hear Erika speak today, you're going to hear the effect of God's word working in her heart. And I'm one who gets to see that happening every day. And you're going to be blessed. You're going to be blessed to hear from her as a mother, as a wife, and I think first and foremost, as a lover of God. So let's give her a warm welcome. She is going to bless you.
No.
Hi. Okay, so it feels really nice to be here in person. Thanks.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, so this is right after. That's sort of the other thing that threw me off was she looked different. This is the blouse that she wore in that podcast we just watched. Okay, of her with James Kaddis. Apocalypse Now. What is up? Every one of these preachers belongs on To Catch a Predator. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
this is our church on Sunday for our family because, first of all, I'm obsessed with Pastor.
Yeah, we know you're obsessed, but how is it your church? You guys live in Arizona. This is in Signal Hills. Okay. This is in California. How is it your church on Sunday?
James Kaddis. You guys are so blessed to have him because there are so many pastors, and we can speak from actual experience of this, that are not true shepherds, and they're feeding their flock not the word of God, and they're not feeding them true bread and milk. They're giving watered down substance for their church congregation. So you guys are very blessed.
And this is remember, James said she is just the most gifted public speaker, and that he knew within minutes that she had a calling over her life to be a public speaker. Give me a break. And they got to fluff each other's egos every time they get on stage. It's nuts.
And so it's nice to finally be with the church family. I think it's been, we were talking back there, I think it's been 3 years since we've been here. So it's nice.
Wait, make that make sense. This is our home church on Sundays. We haven't been here in 3 years. What?
Be back to see you guys. But yeah, you guys are great. And I am so grateful that we have Pastor Kaddis as our Bible in 365 pastoral advisor. That's just a huge gift and blessing in itself, because during our live Q&A, we have the opportunity for people also to submit lifestyle questions, just questions about what they're facing in their own personal.
Okay, so this is an infomercial. She's on stage promoting a company that she owns, that she makes money off of, and that James Kaddis makes money off of. They make money, and she's up here about to speak to these Christian women, and she's giving an infomercial to direct them to then go and pay and be a part of her company and give her money. That's nuts. I mean, it's in keeping with Erika Kirk, right? Sending out letters to college students. She's a $500 million company, organization now, and she's asking college students that are in debt to give money to her. You cannot serve two masters. Who's she serving? Not God.
Personal life, what they're seeing going on in the news, anything about the rapture and all of that stuff. And he is so brilliant and he is so wise that no question stumbles him ever, because it's not his knowledge. It's God that's speaking through him.
There you go.
And
it's God that's speaking through him. So when he told Charlie, just like Frank and all these other freaking mocking pastors, you better marry Erika. Don't be stupid. You better do it before someone else does. Before God takes the blinders off of her, you better marry her. God speaking through him. That's exactly what he would have thought.
So it's such a blessing. And so I'm so thankful that you guys share him with us, because I don't know. He didn't sleep, which I'm running on really low sleep because Charlie was traveling and I do not sleep when he's gone. And Pastor James sleeps like 2 hours a night. So I don't know.
Erika doesn't sleep at all when he's gone. He's gone 325 days a year. You just don't sleep? I mean, is lying just to her something that like she just has completely lost track of when she's lying because she does it so much that like she just says things, you know? Charlie was on the road 325 days a year, most years, 325 days a year. I know I see you said 363. Pretty sure it was said like 325. It probably fluctuated from year to year, but over 300. She doesn't sleep when Charlie's not there. Okay, Erika, you're such a good wife. You love Charlie so much that you can't sleep when he's not there. Okay. So what? Now he's gone forever. You're just never going to sleep again? You can't sleep. What about the night before he gets assassinated and you're like, no, you don't want to sleep in here. No. Gigi's going to sleep in here. You go sleep in the other room so you can get good sleep because we all know that's how people sleep good, in toddler beds when they're 6'5". Yeah. I bet you didn't sleep the night before either. So you were asleep when he came in and got his ring and his necklace, but you didn't wake up and say, I love you, sweetie. I know that you were afraid that you might be unalived today, but I'm not going to say goodbye to you. I know that you came in and grabbed your necklace and your ring, but I'm not going to say goodbye to you. But you just can't sleep when he's not there. But you didn't say goodbye to him. She was asleep when he left for Utah. Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh, my goodness. Either she was or she was faking it. Because she knows that he came in and got his stuff. I mean, she also could have known that he got his stuff by going in there in the morning and realizing it was gone. This is the other thing that's nuts with her. Like, we'll never know. We never know the truth with Erika. She lies so much. Like, she could tell the truth and we wouldn't know if it hit us in the face. Because everything, like Frank Turek, when the lips are moving, they're lying. Freaking Rob McCoy. There's blood everywhere. Mikey called me. He had blood all over him. Brian Harple. And then the blood got in my mouth. And Frank Turek. And then I told him to do CPR. They all. And so people emailed me. They're like, why do you dislike them or something like that? I don't like liars. I don't like liars who act like they're the complete opposite of that they're Christian men and women of God out here presenting themselves as some sort of example of a Christian human. And everything that we've seen of these people is just lies, manipulation, psyop. It's just the worst, man. It's just the worst.
I am trying to channel his energy while we're here, but no, I'm just so grateful. And when Nicole asked me to come speak with you guys, I loved the imagery of summer in the Psalms, and I thought it was really it's interesting because we're in such a weird time right now with spiritual warfare, and summer in the Psalms painted such a picture of peace and prosperity, but also through times of battle, because a lot of Psalms deal with battling, but then also the prosperity and peace that comes from those battles. And so I just thought that is so quintessential of what we're going through right now. And obviously there's no doubt in my mind, and I know in yours, that we're going through a spiritual war right now. But after praying about this, since they asked me to come here, I chose a Psalm that I didn't even really was thinking of at the time. And it's Psalm 144 that I wanted to dive into. And even though I'm focusing on just a specific verse in Psalm 144, I have to give context because Pastor Kaddis and also Pastor Greg Denham
are huge on context. And I think that's so important, because sometimes we take scripture out of context and we're like, this is how it applies to me. And it's not even at all how it was intended to, but we just somehow cherry pick certain things in scripture to make it more applicable to our life. But the reason why I love this psalm is because it's a psalm of battle, but it's also a psalm of prayer for peace and prosperity. And the irony in that is that within the psalm, it has the sound of marching feet and also the hope of a quiet harvest. And right now we need both of those, because we have the sound of our marching feet going up the spiritual warfare, but we also need to have the hope that there will be a quiet harvest that comes from that.
Sorry.
And interestingly enough, in the history of Israel, as many of you guys know, because I know you guys go to a biblically based church, so you understand this, that the record of Israel is that there is constant invasion and warfare in the promised land. Because of this, the land rarely has a chance to flourish uninterrupted. And every so often when a king rises up, they unify their people, they fend off the enemies, and for a brief moment, the people can finally enjoy peace. And it's not the peace that their military brings. It's the only type of peace that God can grant, true peace, where there's lasting prosperity and the people can flourish. And so
this is nuts, you guys. So she has a Young Women's Leadership Summit in June. Then SAS is in July. It was before this on like the 8th and 9th. And then that's when Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Charlie Kirk go max. He tells them to go max. He goes max. He also has the Dave Smith, Josh Hammer debate. Also in the summer of 25, he does the sit down. Charlie Kirk does the sit down with Andrew Colvett and the chapter head, the students, the college students of TPUSA, and only talks about Philly. Like, he is totally switching course on Philly. They go to Tucker's right after this. So she is on stage publicly lying right now. And we know that. Tucker's not going to lie to Candace. Candace isn't going to lie to us. And she is so anti-Philly in front of Charlie and Tucker. I guarantee. So Charlie's not here. Charlie was busy. He didn't watch this. He doesn't watch her stuff, you guys. He doesn't have time to do it. Okay. He is so incredibly busy. He didn't even have time to do some of his own things. He's writing books. He's going on tours. He's doing the campus event. He's got his show. I can't even imagine how busy he is and how busy they even kept him in the last 6 months of his life so that he could never get an idea of who was part of the planning of the execution. He did not see this. There's no way. And he had no clue that she would say these things and then turn around and be anti-Philly in front of him and Tucker for their benefit. God, and you guys want to know, is she dishonest? Is she a sociopath, a psychopath, a narcissist, a liar? Yes.
the theme of Psalm 144 is this: praise and prayer to God because of who he is, not just what he gives. So again, this psalm it's a battle song. It's a call to arms, but it's also a call to trust, and it's a call to worship, and it's a call to prepare. So Psalm 144 verse 1, it says, "Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hand for war and my fingers for battle." So with that said, I want to encourage you that you need to let God train you before the battle. Before the spiritual warfare, before the battle actually happens. So anytime that you're feeling that.
From the moment of the fall, it's been a spiritual battle. Like, I mean, from every generation that I've grown, I mean, that from the Christians have been, it's always been a spiritual battle. Like, to say like this, like now it's a spiritual battle more than before. It's like, man, this is what they do, right? Like the end time is coming. The end time is coming. You better, and like, yes, I know it seems like it with every generation we move along, like it gets worse and worse, right? And it seems now more than ever that like we are getting near the end times, but like it's been said forever. I mean, she's just being redundant, and like this isn't anything new. Like we're in a spiritual battle. Yeah. We've been is the moment at the fall and Satan became the prince of this world. We've been in a spiritual battle, my lady. They definitely didn't share everything. No way. No way. I agree.
He's preparing you, because a lot of us want to skip ahead to victory. We don't like the preparing process. It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's often a struggle.
You like victory.
And you have to realize that in God's infinite love and in his infinite wisdom, he's trying to equip you for what's ahead. And again, he doesn't always have to explain how, but he's disciplining you and he's stretching you, which is again uncomfortable. Sometimes it breaks you. But he's doing that so that when the enemy comes, you don't collapse.
Not you though, right?
He wants you to be able to stand. He doesn't want you to struggle. He doesn't want you to fall. He wants you to stand firm. So there's how he wants to prepare you is to just
notice. Okay. Like James Kaddis says that like she knows her scripture and she's biblically sound, and all she does is regurgitate like these slogans, like God wants you to stand. Yeah. Okay. Like God wants to prepare you. Oh yeah. Okay. Like, oh, the time of growing is difficult. Yeah. Okay. We know. Like you're not doing anything here. Like you're just showing that you don't really know anything. And it's like you're playing a part and you're saying things that sound good and they're catchy and they're like we said, bumper sticker slogan Christianity. That's Erika Kirk. We should make that a shirt. Erika Kirk, bumper sticker slogan Christianity.
Accept the training, embrace the pain of the sanctification process, and let him help you in the battle, because his hand is not short. God's hand is not short.
AI wrote all of her sermons, you know?
It's there to strengthen and to deliver you. And honestly, right now, I feel women are a major target for spiritual warfare right now, more than ever. Wow. Our culture doesn't even know what a woman is anymore. So that in itself helps explain the issues with that. But it's interesting because as I'm raising my own daughter, I'm realizing that as I look around, whether that's my friends or people that I thought were friends or think are friends or acquaintances or even social media, because you can't help but be scrolling, you're seeing a lot of these moms.
Oh, she said she doesn't have social media. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember when she said she doesn't have social media? She didn't, right? Oh, you can't even help but scroll through social media, guys.
Raise their children to be famous before they're being raised to be faithful. And that is horrifying to see, because you're looking at this and without judgmental eyes, you're looking at these children, maybe they're 5, whatever, and they're already being put on a pedestal of use this discount code to get a free stroller, or, like there's certain things that you're just like.
Do you guys remember when she said that at the Young Women's Leadership Summit? Actually, that's interesting. So that was in June. So just a month ago before this filming, she's at the Young Women's Leadership Summit with Charlie Kirk. She's on stage, and they're asked questions. And one of the things she says to an answer to a young Christian woman is that exact statement. She just like just like Frank Turek. They just reuse the same stuff because they're in a different setting and like, oh, these people didn't hear that. Oh, these people didn't hear that. And it's just like they're writing this like script that they just play for different audiences. And she's just regurgitating the same thing over and over and over again. Not an original thought in her body.
Your children should not be your platform that you're building on. You need to teach your children to be faithful. And I want mothers and young mothers to realize it is so much more important to teach your children how to build a home more so than build a platform.
How would she even know what to do? Like how can she even give that as advice? Like Gigi at this time is like 3 and Mac is 1.5. Like, she doesn't have experience as being a mother. Like, not really. Like, I'm not discounting young moms. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. But like, she's getting up there as this person that has experience to be pouring into women that are clearly probably way older than her and have way more experience and knowledge and wisdom as what it takes to be a mother, a Christian mother in this day and age, and to be a Christian wife. Like, oh my gosh. How do these older, wiser, more experienced, knowledgeable women that are sitting in the audience look at this baby and go, oh my gosh, she's so wise. How does she know this? It must be God. She's just a baby wife. She's a baby mom. How could she get up there and tell us these things?
Is so important because, and that's why in Psalm chapter or verse 144,
don't get it wrong.
Chapter 144, verse 12 is so important.
Yes.
Because it paints a very specific picture of our sons and our daughters
Is it technical?
after going through battle. And it says, may our sons in their youth be like plants full grown, and our daughters like corner pillars cut for the structure of a palace. And the beautiful part about this is that David is anticipating a time of peace so real that it changes how families grow.
Go Philly.
And that's how I see where we are in our day and age is as we go through this spiritual battle, it's going to change how our family dynamics are, how we speak to our children, how we pour into our children, how we pour into our families. So if you look and you break this apart, our sons like plants, that simile speaks to stability. It speaks to maturity. They're being cultivated. They're being strengthened to grow fully, and they're rooted and they're rising. It's not that they're wilting or they're wandering around trying to figure out who they are as a young man in society. They are like plants. They are rooted and rising. And our daughters like corner pillars. That's not a decorative column. A corner pillar, if you guys have been to, how many of you have been to Europe or?
She's going to give a building analogy. The other day, she called herself a master builder. That's a Freemason term, right? Now she's going to tell you that the column is not a decorative column. That column is for stability. She doesn't know that. She had to Google that. AI told this is not written by her. This is crazy.
DC for that matter, Washington, DC, or even downtown LA. Well, I don't even know if downtown LA, but you see these massive, especially in Europe, you'll see these massive, gorgeous
and we know,
corner pillars.
We know she was all over Europe at the same locations and time as Jeffy Eppy was. Remember when Barron did that show where it looks like she was traveling and going to the exact same places at like the Ritz-Carlton and stuff, having tea and crumpets. And it just so happens that's where Jeffy Eppy was. What do you know?
And they're not for decoration.
Oh.
Although they're beautiful, they're for structural necessities. And without these corner pillars, the palace would fall. It would not stand.
Oh my God.
And Matthew Henry, he's one of my favorite commentators. He beautifully expands this metaphor, and he explains it like this. He says, daughters here are polished after the likeness of a palace, graceful yet strong, beautiful yet foundational.
I don't even know.
And polished implies refinement, which is a process that involves the carving and the shaping and even the smoothing of rough edges. And this is how I feel precisely how the Lord is working.
This is so fake, you guys. This is so fake. She did not come up with that analogy herself. She's not a builder. She's not a mason. You know, like she feels like this analogy, polish and round and not sharp edges. And that's exactly how I feel. Somebody helped her write this, or AI wrote it for her. She didn't write this. Come on.
Works in our lives through the trials, through the challenges, through the joy and the sorrow. He's polishing us. He's making us resilient. He's making us radiant. And this is a reminder to us that our lives are supposed to be foundational, not just these ornaments and this beautiful life that we live. It's supposed to be foundational. And so I want to encourage you through this is that sometimes we think as pillars, you're just there and no one's paying attention to you. You feel as
Remember, James said that he knew within minutes that God had a calling for her life and that she's such a gifted speaker, an articulate speaker. And supposedly, you guys, Charlie Kirk was going around telling people that she is better than him and that no, he doesn't want to be president. He thinks Erika's going to be president and that Charlie thought she was better than him. Come on. There's no way, you guys.
almost as if you're overlooked. And you're exactly where you're supposed to be. There's an intentional positioning in your life. And the thing about corner pillars is that it reminds you God's vision for his daughters is not a vase in a window. It's not an accessory in the room, but a literal corner pillar in his kingdom. And that is so important. You're not to be overlooked, even though you feel like it sometimes, but the world often glorifies women who are loud rather than women who are steady. But scripture shows us very clearly that true beauty and worth comes from stability and being steadfast in your faith, and also quiet strength.
Oh.
And I
think
that there's something really beautiful and powerful about the hidden strength of a woman. And I saw this a lot in my mom when I was growing up, because I was raised by a single mom.
Oh my God.
And she showed me through her actions and through her faith what it looked like to have that hidden strength in Christ, because she was my corner pillar. And that is not glamorous, being both the mother and the father in your child's life.
Well, we know that she wasn't, because we know you had your father in your life and you had your stepfather. So can you guys help me? Like, she's clearly lying here. We know, like, Barron's talked about it. Kaddis has talked about it. She wasn't raised by a single parent mom. Not ever. Not at all. Like, they moved out to Arizona ahead of her father or stepfather, I forget which one it was at the time, to like set things up. It was like a short amount of time, and then he followed. And like, there was even a period when she was raised by her father or stepfather, I forget which one it is, but not by her mom. So like, this is clearly a lie, and she's doing it from a pulpit, and she's doing it to everyone. So like, you wonder, like, you ask yourself, could Erika be lying about Tyler Robinson, about what she knows about the assassination? Could she participate in a cover-up or even the planning and execution of Charlie? Yes. Yes, she could. Her lying about her whole life is proof of that. She lied that she never lived in China. She gets introduced that she lived in China. She said that on the other show we broke down last week or the other day. She literally lies all the time. So could she lie about Charlie? Yes. About did he appoint her as CEO? Was he afraid for his life at the end? Was he turning on his position and support for Philly? All the things that she and, people at TPUSA want to get up there and tell us as truth, you can ask yourself, would she lie about this? Yes. Yes, she would. And she is.
But one thing that I learned from that, her being my corner pillar, if you will, is that she didn't move. She didn't wander. She was anchored. She held up the palace. She held up our family.
Speaker, guys.
Me. She was always there for me. And being a mother of young children, and some of you here that are moms to young children, you are wondering sometimes, like, does anyone see, like, you're exhausted, you have the mom bun, you're like in laundry, you forget that your coffee is still in the microwave and it's 3 p.m. now and you've heated it up 3 times as you've walked in and out of the kitchen and it's still there. You wonder, is anyone seeing this? And you have to remember, you're still the corner pillar.
She's not relatable though. Like she's trying to sell herself as this like traditional, like average earning, middle class wife. Her life looks nothing like everyone in that audience, you guys. She flew in a private jet that costs anywhere from like $50,000 to $100,000, whether it's one way or both ways. She's staying in the nicest places. She has a multi-million-dollar home, which at this point they had sold and they were staying in a condo, but it's because their bigger home was being built. She wants to act like she is one of those women sitting in the audience, and she's just not. And she probably has a tremendous amount of help in the home with the kids before Charlie's assassinated and definitely after.
Women who are single, my heart breaks for you because I hear it as a clown show out there in the dating world. And you're longing for a relationship and you're longing for the Lord to bring you the man that he's created for you. And, you have to remember that hidden strength within you, that you're exactly where you need to be. And even some of the grandmothers here that are carrying the weight of your family's legacy, that you have to remember, you are still the corner pillar, and the strength of your patience, the strength of your prayers when you're whispering them in the dark at night, or the meals that you're preparing, or the integrity that you live with in unseen places, that is structure. And that is the type of structure and the corner pillar that the next generation is built on. And I was talking to Pastor James about this before we came out here, because before we get into all this, I run a lot of stuff by him. He helps me make sure to stay on track with things, but he also helps me with enunciation with certain words in the Bible. I'm a hooked on phonics baby, but there are some things where I'm like, can you just spell it phonetically so I can understand what I'm saying?
Wait, she's not a hooked on phonics baby. She went to like a gifted, didn't she go to like the Tesseract school? She went to like a gifted and talented school, right? That was like ran by Intel or like military, and right? Like one of family members, psychiatrist or whatever. She's not hooked on phonics. But she runs everything by James Kaddis, guys. Everything.
Because some of the words in Hebrew are not easy to say. But I wanted to give you, because a lot of women know Ruth, and they know Mary, the mother of Jesus, and they know Esther and all these women. But I wanted to dive deep and find 3 women who were so faithful, and they were not famous, but they were faithful. You don't know their names, neither do I, but heaven does. And I thought it was, let me preface, to these women, it's a little aggressive what happened. It's a little, I will say PG-13, maybe R-rated. So you'll see a little violent. But the third one is wisdom, peace, preservation. So the first unnamed woman, is a woman from Tevetz in Judges 9. And she stood at the tower window while Abimelech, they were taking over the city. She had no title.
That's interesting. She uses Abimelech. Isn't that, what did, I think it was Bibi that used that. Oh, I'll have to look it up. I don't want to say it and be wrong.
No armor. And she was the one who dropped the millstone that crushed his skull, that saved the people. And then he ordered his armor bearer to kill him because he did not want to be killed by a woman. No one knows her name, but she was faithful, and she was a corner pillar. She was right where she needed to be. And she prepared for the battle prior by staying in the position that she needed to be in and listening to God. She was positioned, she was prepared, she was precise. Just saying. Then you have Yael, and she was a tent-dwelling woman. Again, these are kind of R-rated. This is the other R-rated one. Not noticed by kings, but in Judges 4, she drove a tent peg through the temple of a tyrant. And her home was her battlefield, which
all of our homes are our own form of a battlefield, because the enemy would love nothing more than to exist within the four walls of your home. Like, that is prime territory. He's not after you. He wants your territory. So her being aware enough to defend her home as her battlefield, prime example. Now, this one's a lot, man. This is like G-rated.
What?
A wise woman from Abel in 2 Samuel chapter 20. She stood between a city and its destruction, the corner pillar. And when you're that pillar, when you're cut, you're chiseled. And when you're chiseled, you're changed. And sometimes refinement does not feel like glory. It feels like laundry. It feels like tears. You're praying on your knees in your closet. Refinement feels like hospital rooms, long nights when your kid is sick and snot is everywhere, years of silent obedience. That is refinement, and that is how God builds you, and that is how he strengthens you and your house and his house. Your purpose is essential. Being a corner pillar is essential, and your presence continues.
All right. This is long. I haven't been able to pre-watch this one. I'm not going to sit us through it. It looks like a lot of people are getting bored of it. What I want to show, because where are we at in the time? 2 hours, 35 minutes. Okay. A couple things. And then, like I said, I'll put this together with some of the other one that was out of place. All right. So my apologies, you guys. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw that Candace Owens is going to be going on the Sean Ryan show. I have early access to that. As soon as that airs, we'll watch it. I paid for it, so you don't have to. And I'll make sure that, like, I'll clip all the important parts so that we can watch that together, because it'll probably be like 3 hours like it was with Megyn Kelly, but not everything. Megyn and Sean didn't even discuss Charlie Kirk. And so I'm going to find the parts that have to do with, like, TPUSA, Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk, and that stuff, and Tucker Carlson and things like that. One thing I do want to show you, she has on her show, on Charlie Kirk's show, Blake Neff, right? Blake Neff, just to remind you guys, where did it go? The kind of lying that he told just after the assassination. Hold on, let me pause it. With Jack Posobiec, because there's a lot going on online right now about Blake, and I want to show you guys this.
What was it? I mean, you go there, you've been to, how many of Charlie's campus events what was it like? Did you sense that something was off before the gunshot rang out? Kind of paint the picture for us.
I don't want to lead too much into it, but after it happened, I talked to some other members of the team, and several of us did say we experienced some sort of unsettling feeling. I think for me, it was that it was in this amphitheater, which really emphasized, like, the size of the crowd, but also it emphasized, the buildings in the background. And actually, for the first few minutes, before Charlie walked out, I remember I was scanning. I was just looking around idly, like, oh, where would someone be if something happened? And I didn't.
So once again, like Frank Turek said, all of these individuals around Charlie, all supposedly, right, knew, except for the security team, except for, like, Dan Flood and Brian Harpel, saw that this was a bad setup, and that there was lots of roofs around where potential shooters could shoot from, like Butler. But Brian Harpel and Dan Flood weren't worried about that. They didn't have that in their security plan to put anyone up on those roofs. And we're supposed to believe that these just, soft snowflake, average, below average men, no prior military or police experience at all, like Blake Neff and freaking Frank Turek. Well, Frank Turek was a naval officer, but hadn't done that in a long time. That they were able to see that there were just a lot of potential places where someone could take a shot at Charlie, but his own security team didn't notice it.
Didn't think too much of it. I stopped, by the time Charlie came out. But I immediately thought back to that as soon as it happened. When it did, I would say I was about 10 feet to Charlie's left when it happened. And it was it's one of those moments that'll crystallize in your mind forever. You hear that, the pop, and it's not completely clear immediately what it is. But then I looked to my right and I saw immediately what it was. And
no, he didn't. I can't show the video, but him and Mikey McCoy. So they're like, if Charlie's like seated here and he's facing the crowd, they're over here back a bit. And that the tent and that like back banner is blocking a lot of Blake. Mikey's a little bit more in the open, but neither of them look to the right. Neither of them. The sound goes off. They actually both turn to their left backwards so that their back faces Charlie. They don't look at Charlie, either of them. They're gone within 0.85 seconds. Charlie hadn't even gone up and started to fall over by the time that they've already disappeared and taken off. So, and he said that this event has crystallized in his mind, yet he's given like a dozen different versions of that day. So, no, like literally didn't crystallize.
I'll never forget it.
Right.
No. And was there a thought? I mean, obviously Charlie's got great security that I know got to him immediately. These guys are incredibly well trained. I know Dan, I know everybody, I know the whole team.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they got him the medical attention immediately that he needed, got him where he, to higher medical facilities at the hospital. And
they didn't.
But just so when that happened, did it seem surreal in the sense? Did it seem like Butler? Did it seem like everyone sort of, scatters, or was it just kind of as confusing as it sounds?
It was definitely confusing, but it was also, it was, how to describe it? It was clear what had happened. There was only one shot. We all immediately saw what had happened. You were correct. The security got him immediately, got him into the car immediately, got him out immediately. They could not have done their job on that front any better. And then at that point, it was, what do we do? And I know on my end, I think the first thing I did was I sent a message to, I opened Telegram and I went to our Turning Point thing and I said, lockdown Turning Point. I imagined they'd already seen it too, but I just said, lock it down. Something happened. Do it right ASAP. And then I'll be honest, I called my mom because I didn't know if there would be anyone else out there, if anything else would happen. So I just called my mom and said immediately, I can't say more, but Mom, Charlie got shot. I love you. I have to go. And then
he definitely didn't know Charlie got shot. There was a loud bang. He's like behind to the left. The banner's in the way. He doesn't look and see what happened to Charlie. He takes off. So he has no clue in reality to say that Charlie was shot unless he's pushing a narrative from the beginning. That's the only thing that makes sense.
From there, I met up with some other members of the team. We got to the hospital within, I'd say, about 25 minutes or so. And the rest of the day unfolded from there.
Blake, as a producer for Charlie, you worked so closely with him every single day. And
this is so weird that they're interviewing each other like that. They're coworkers and that they're using this event to push a narrative and to film it and to broadcast it because people are naturally going to want to show up to the platforms and the profiles and the channels which Charlie was on, and they know that. And I think it's the same reason why. So Baron and Daisy and Zach broke this story on X, like Zach broke like it on X after Baron and Daisy did, that just after the assassination in September, TPUSA started buying these websites and using them to reroute traffic to them, to Charlie Kirk Show, to Real America's Voice, to Turning Point USA. And Zach said it was weird. I don't think it's actually weird. I think it's evil. Yes, I think it's evil. I actually think if you're about what they're about, which is money, influence, subscribers, numbers, right? And controlling a narrative, it is the most like ingenious idea to buy the TylerRobinson.com website. Charlie Kirk got owned. Charlie Kirk got offed. These are all things that people are going to Google and go onto in the wake of the assassination and wanting to find out information, and it reroutes them all to TPUSA and their channels so that they could then get their version of the story of events. They're there to push the official FedSlop narrative immediately. They had even bought these websites and domains solely to reroute people to their narrative, to them, where they are going to control what are the facts, what is the evidence, what is the story. So it's evil, yes, but it makes sense that they would do that because they don't want people to go find Kaddis. They don't want people to go find Barron or anyone else that's going to give them an alternative theory or narrative for that day, for Charlie Kirk, for Charlie Kirk's legacy, for all that. They want to be routed to them. They want to control it. And that just shows what their focus was in the immediate aftermath of the assassination. That's what they were focused on. And if you guys remember, if there was big debates over if there were drones there that day, a new video just surfaced. Well, okay, I don't know if it's new. It's new to me. And I have it and pulled up. I found multiple, like, I don't know if they're military style drones, but they're moving so fast. The only way you can see it is if you put it into 0.25 speed, and then you click it like every 2 seconds to start, stop. And I'll pull it up while you guys listen more of Blake and F. And then I'll show you what I mean.
Directly on, so much of the content that we all got to experience and enjoy as the beneficiaries of this work. I mean, what's running through your mind now in terms of not having Charlie?
It really does. It's painful to say, but he is irreplaceable. And people would ask about this, and I would say Charlie he's not just a show host. And that was what stood out about him. It's that he could be in everything. He was a guy in media. He was an organization builder. He could do Get Out the Vote. He could do grassroots outreach. He could do, he cared about all of the policy stuff. So he could go into the White House and talk to them about appointments, about policy, about what the Senate should be doing. He was in every part of it because he cared about all of it so much. The world of politics it's full of a lot of people who are in it for, they care a bit about, the issues, but they also care about themselves, about getting famous, about getting rich, about resolving some grievance. But Charlie, every single day, he was going all out for the things he cared about the most, which was how does he make America better? And also that he was a man of, deep Christian faith, and he wanted to advance Christianity. He wanted a spiritual revival in America. And truthfully, what I kept thinking of after the news broke was just before this tour happened, Charlie did a quick visit to Korea and Japan. He gave.
All right, we'll play that in a second. We'll finish, but hold on. I have it here. All right, so, okay, right here, this little, can you guys see my purple hand cursor pointer thingamajigger? So right here, this is a drone, okay? It wasn't there, and now watch, it's gonna fly across, but I have to start, stop, and it's in 0.25 speed. Where'd it go? It's in between. There it is again. So it's right there. There it is right there. Okay. And there you can see the actual wing, like the arms on it and a couple of the propellers. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let me see. Let me know if you guys can see that drone. Let me see. I got to restart my my monitor. So like, let's see, I can pull it back here. Oh, I got to skip that. I can't have that be on there. Oh, did I miss it? Yeah, hold on. So it's going to be right here. And then he's going to come back. And it's going to come up right here. Right. Okay, there it is. So it flies out from on top, behind this roof, flies there and there, and it flies off. But anyways, I found that drone. There's like multiple drones further in this video. There's a lot in this video. I just don't know what I can share on X. So I got to be careful. I mean, on YouTube from X.
Some speeches there. And so the last kind of normal, the last speech he gave was in Japan. And this is to an audience of conservative Japanese people. They're anti-immigration. They're they provide some.
Oh, he just starts telling about Korea. It was mainly the part where I wanted to talk about him or show what he was saying about how he reacted and responded to the, assassination, and he lied about it. Charlie's Angels, you never sent me that video you said you were going to send me. I don't know if you're still here or not. You're probably not, because there's stuff going on X, but let me go here. Hold on one second. If you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe. It is the best way you can help support this channel. Also, one thing you guys can do too is there it is. Hit the like and subscribe. Once the video posts, if you could head over and just throw a comment in the bottom, it helps the algorithm, and then you can hype the video for free. So that's the best way to support a channel that doesn't cost any money. All right, let me pull up this Charlie clip. All right, hold on. Let me make it big. Nope, I didn't fix my screen. Hold on. There we go.
Why do you think your son is conservative?
I have no clue. I'll let him answer that question.
That's a bad answer. Hold on a second. You as a father should listen to your son. You shouldn't say, hold on a second. We're both fathers. Hold on a second. That's a bad answer.
I listen to him all the time.
But hold on. But then you just said you don't know.
I don't know where he went so bad. I mean, come on. It's like, I don't know where he went wrong. I don't know how he went off the rails.
See that? All right. Would the smarter of the two like to chime in here? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I used to be at one point on my father's side. And upon doing my own research.
I'm not going to be able to play this. Oh, no. It's got music on it. I didn't realize it until it was already happening. It's going to get dinged. I'm going to have to edit it out. Let me find a different clip. I had it in my history. Let me go here. Nope, that's the one with the music. Where is it? Did I hit save to watch later? Hold on. That's a really long one. He's with Pastor Rob McCoy and Greg Dunham. No. Let me pull this one up. Hold on. Oh, all right. Oh, I really hope I don't get dinged. I won't be able to edit it till later.
Intentions are? Sorry, I'm new to you in this, and I was just intrigued.
Sure. Hear from different ideas and see where we agree and disagree. So
yeah, what's like your purpose though? Like communication, yes, but like what ideas are you trying to bring or like help people understand?
And what's interesting here, I'd have to see. So Dan Flood's here. This is an older event. They're all close up. I don't see the Rode mic on his lapel, but Dan is on the back right like he was at UVU. Okay. Just talking about the different setups. They varied it depending on the campus.
Conservative ones, traditional
like,
American ones.
Oh, okay. Like traditional conservatism or like modern conservative right wing because they like switched.
I don't like.
Oh, this microphone records for the video and projects for the audience. Plus, everyone's really close. But that was the main reason why they had a handheld mic, was for the audience and the speakers there live, and then the Rode mic on the lapel was for the video.
So you can ask me about a topic.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Okay.
I think there's only two sexes, no genders, infinite personalities. Life begins at conception. We should deport all the illegals, right?
Yeah.
So these are just some of my opinions.
So you think it'll like make the country better? Like, what are you?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that number one, I want to support our amazing Turning Point USA chapter here, where they feel outnumbered and isolated. Number two, we're promoting our event tonight, so I hope you guys show up. Where's our event? It's like in the Montezuma Hall or something. Yeah, it's great. Montezuma Hall, Montezuma, whatever. And number three is I want to see where I might be wrong, strengthen my arguments, and anybody can say anything to me. I think that free speech is the last best hope we have in Western society.
Nice. Okay. Then I have a question about like women's rights
Please.
in America. I just want to hear what you think,
Sure.
like where you think we're at, how you think we could better
Yeah.
them.
Can you, just so I know where you're coming from, can you tell me what is a woman?
Oh, that's a great question. I would classify a woman as somebody with a womb and or a vagina. Sometimes people are born with either one or the other. But.
Good. We agree. Yes. So as far as women's rights, I don't separate rights based on sex. So you have to tell me what you mean based on that. So.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So do you believe that there's a difference right now in like people's rights and
No. I mean, there's male-female differences, but there are no male rights or women. Can you give me an example of?
Like patriarchy. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Do you believe that we live in a patriarchy and it negatively affects women?
No.
No.
Yeah. So, for example, men are more likely to commit suicide.
Yeah.
More likely to die at work. More likely to declare bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Women are far less likely to be in credit card debt. Far more likely to graduate from college.
Yeah.
Far more likely to get a high-paying job.
Do you think that that's a really good point. Do you think that the suicide rates or the depression rates and the bankruptcy rates that you just mentioned regarding men have to do with the fact that men are pushed to be less open about their emotions? They're less available to being able to communicate how they feel with others. They're taught to be more violent and be more physically harmful to themselves and others. And do you think that pushes them towards suicide, depression, and bankruptcy?
And I think it's the opposite. I think that we're teaching men to be metrosexual versions of their former selves.
What does metrosexual mean to you?
Indecipherable between a man and woman.
Oh.
So
What's a man and woman to you? What's the difference between them?
Well, a man you're looking at a man, and I think I'm looking at a woman, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice,
right?
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, thank you. There's characteristics, archetypes, but we have differences. There are significant male-female differences. I think
like what?
Well, men tend to be more assertive. Women tend to be more agreeable.
Innately or taught?
Innately, and I wouldn't say
innately
taught,
based on what science?
Well, just for example, if we look at artificial intelligence scanned over 10,000 brains using a SPECT scan, and was able to determine male-female differences 95% of the time of different brain functions based on basal ganglia, amygdala,
do you know the age?
Cerebellum.
Because interestingly enough,
age
I
is
read
14
a study.
To 22.
Okay, 14 to 22. I read a study recently that before the age of 10, brains are neuroscientists are unable to be able to tell the difference in gender based on the brain. But at a certain point, the social implications that children are taught start making them act differently.
No, it's prepubescent. It's before the estrogen starts pumping through the female and the testosterone starts pumping through the male, which is what makes a female and makes a male. And they grow into the adult versions of themselves. And that's really where the formation of the differences of the brain begin. Yes, I mean, nature versus nurture. Yes, your environment has a lot to do with what you grow up, how you grow up and what you become. But we, for sure, biologically are created in the image of God, uniquely separate. Like women are uniquely created with different qualities and gifts and skills innately, and men the same for themselves.
But it's been shown that if a man or a woman were given the same, okay, have you heard that men they have more spatial awareness, like in their brain? Have you heard that one?
I think that's probably true. Yeah.
Yeah. So we learned that if women are given a month of the same practices as children that men are given or allowed to do, whether it comes to what they're playing, the media they're intaking, like what they're told and how they're told to act, that women have the same spatial awareness ability as men. So we're finding that innately the brain is the same, but because of the social constructs that we're taught on men and women and how they're supposed to act, their brain...
They're not taught how to act. Like a young girl gravitates towards these most. Okay, obviously there's outliers and there's exceptions to the rule. However, you don't, state the exception as the rule. Okay, and so I mean, having raised daughters, and I work with a lot of young, kids on both sides, but boys gravitate towards boy things, like young manly things, right? Like the games they're interested in, the toys that they pick, the colors that they pick, the games that they play with one another, all of that. Like, kids aren't being taught how to do that. I didn't teach my daughters like what clothes they like and don't like and what shows they like and what they don't like. I tried to force them to watch things that I liked so that we could watch things together, and I was successful. One of my daughters likes to watch ET with me. That's the closest I got her to watch something that I like.
Ability to activate certain parts changes. So by 14, the brain does seem different.
Have you raised kids?
Tell me.
Have you ever raised kids?
No, I have 6 nieces and nephews, though, men and women.
You couldn't be more wrong. If you're even around a 2-year-old boy and 2-year-old girl, it's not a matter of what they're taught. The girls are running to the dresses, the boys are running to the guns. You know who agrees with me? One of the leading feminists of the 60s and 70s, Gloria Steinem, who wrote Feminist Mystique.
Yes, I've read that.
Even she, who was like a hardcore gender is taught, when she raised her kids, she was like, oh my goodness, there is a fundamental innate difference between men and women. And it's not just brain structure.
Right.
It's testosterone, it's estradiol, it's estrogen production, it is hormone levels, it is all, and there, I could just prove it. If you sit down with a young lady, they're far more likely to talk about micro topics, and men are more likely to talk about macro topics.
What's the difference between micro and macro?
Great question. So if I sat down with a young lady, she'd be much more likely to talk about friends, relationships, and things that are very intimate to her. A young man would be more likely to talk about the weather, sports, or the stock market, or politics.
Yeah.
And that's not taught. That is innate. That is innate into our bioprogramming.
What is bioprogramming?
How we were designed.
What do you mean how we were designed?
I mean, I believe that there's a creator that designed us and that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And you might not agree. I would just say how you were born. I could even say, just to come to common ground on that.
Okay, so the creator chose that men and women have separate roles and it's innate.
Well, not just separate roles, but made differently. And out of being made differently, you get different roles.
Right. So if science proves that the other way, do you rely on creator over science?
But science has done the opposite. Yeah. So for example, in a Harvard study, they put 50 women in a room alone and they put 50 men in the room alone.
What age?
Not relevant, but around 25, right?
Relevant. Okay.
So
no, sorry. I'm actually having so much fun.
Okay.
Sorry. Keep going.
I actually liked her in the beginning, but she keeps interrupting him, and she's being very sarcastic and passive aggressive. And after 25 does matter, because I mean that's when the frontal lobe is finished forming. That's why they would do the study with 25 and older.
So if you really, I'm fascinated you think that 8-year-olds' brains are infinitely neuroplastic, but we'll get to that back to that later.
No,
so,
when they're like babies. By 8 years old, you're already going through school and you've had so many relationships. They're definitely affected.
But again, if you were right, John Money would have been proven right, but we'll get to that later. Okay. So that test has been replicated so many times. And even the Dutch, who are like the most progressive on this, have gotten away from the idea of tabula rasa, that boys and girls are born similarly with brain differences. But we'll agree to disagree on that. But anyway, 25-year-olds were put into a room, okay?
Right.
And they said, men, what do you think about when they're alone? No surprise, sports and sex, right? Young ladies, what do you think about in the room alone for 30 minutes just by themselves? They replayed prior conversations that they had. For the record, no man in the history of the species has replayed conversations that we had and thought about them when we were alone in a room. Like, what conversation? What was this person said? Women are far more relational, micro than men. And that's just based on how our design is.
Whoa. think that you just lied that all men don't think. That's such a.
It's called a joke. I'm sure there's a man somewhere that recollected on a conversation.
Well, I didn't know that in a dialect that's a debate based on science, and you're talking about a study. That would you implement a joke that's based on a
Yes,
truth?
humor is a tool of a rhetorician to try to get people, to chuckle, a little levity. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let me ask you a question. Do you think testosterone and estrogen play into people's ability to have drive, ambition, feelings? Do you think testosterone and estrogen are important?
Yes.
Okay, so then if women are lower in testosterone and higher in estrogen.
I just realized I got really sucked into this because this is a very good conversation. And if I play something too long without pausing it or interrupting it, it'll ding my live stream. So I got to take a second. Sorry, guys. Hopefully, were you guys? Yes, condescending. There you go. Is this an interesting conversation with Charlie? Can I keep playing it? Yeah, he is so eloquent, right? Yeah, so articulate, so smart, very gifted, and yet TPUSA and friends of Charlie would have you believe that Charlie thought Erika was better than him, and that if anyone was going to be president someday, it was Erika Kirk, and that Charlie, in one of his moments of genius, was like, I want Erika to take over as CEO of Turning Point. Erika. I appoint Erika. She'll do a great job. No. I don't know why my thing keeps shaking. I'm not shaking it. All right, let me continue. Yeah, let's continue.
And men are lower in estrogen, higher in testosterone. Wouldn't that, independent of society's framing, play into the idea that there are natural differences between the two?
I think that it definitely plays into the idea that there are natural differences. And I think there are natural differences. I just think to an extent that as a society, we've decided that men, because they have more testosterone, and we've known testosterone makes people more aggravated, what's aggravated, I'll just leave it.
Aggressive?
Aggressive, yes, sure.
I'll take aggressive.
Yeah, thank you. That it makes people or men more aggressive, that we've decided that means that men are not in control of their moral ability or their ability to choose what they're going to do. So it becomes like men have more testosterone, but they still have the ability to choose to treat people better or with less aggression. Like it's like, oh, men don't have the ability to make those choices. That's almost like downplaying men's ability by saying that they just have to give into their aggression.
I'm not contesting that. The mark of a true man is one who can control himself.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that do you think there's a problem of trying to turn women too masculine?
Turning women too masculine. What's masculine for you?
Well, let's just say not agreeable, forceful, aggressive, aggressive in the best possible term, forward thinking, more macro, more visionary, less feeling based, more rational, more yearning towards reason and dialogue, and less towards compassion or the ethos.
And what's feminine to you?
The inverse of that. So more on the emotion side, less macro, more micro, much
so
more. So
women are just what men are not?
No, they're different sides of a species coin, right? So you have a human species, you have a male and female, and there's differences. So I could also posit it separately. A woman is more compassionate, a man is less compassionate. Typically. So there's two ways to word it, but do you think that there's a problem about trying to force women to be too masculine?
No, I don't think there's a problem.
Okay, well, I disagree. We have a crisis in this country. I'm curious, why do you think that we have so many unmarried young 30-something women? It's the most in the history of recorded data.
That's a good question. I don't know if I've ever pondered why we have unmarried women.
Why do you think that it's the young women are the most depressed, alcohol addicted, and psychiatric drug addicted in history?
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the most miserable they've ever been. I'm just curious, why do you think that is?
Yeah, I guess I would say that I think it's because like the society that we live in, right? Like capitalistic, consumeristic, where there's like constant processing and overconsumption that includes like drugs, alcohol.
Gosh, they can't even just be honest. Like he's painting this so obvious. It's so obvious what the right answer is, right? The correlation is just so obvious to me, right? That as our society has tried to push women away from that which makes them women, and it's like the creation and biblical perspective of women, men and women's roles, and just what women naturally are, typically, right? The majority, not all, but the majority, these things that women gravitate to, and that what they end up finding most fulfillment in. So the society and Western societies have been pushing women in the opposite direction. And at the same time, we've seen, depression, anxiety, drug, alcohol, and psychiatric use in women go up.
So
overconsumption
women going
leads
into the
people-
workforce a lot could create a lot of depression for them.
Yeah, same with men.
Okay, but then shouldn't women, stay at home and have children and do what they're designed to do?
Men are also
Wouldn't that make them happier?
have the most depression that they have right now in this
Yes,
country.
I
So you
agree.
can make the same argument for men that you just made for women. Shouldn't they
I'm
go
asking
home and be
questions.
out of
I'm
the
saying
workforce?
maybe the men are upset because the women that they're trying to date are more interested in taking care of cats and trying to become partner at the local law firm.
Yeah.
And they say, I don't want to get married till I'm 30. And maybe that creates a sense of despondency when a young male being raised in this country sees everything rigged against them.
So do you not believe that women should be working?
Of course, I believe in liberty. I'm just asking,
Okay.
has there been an unintended tragedy where we have the most financially successful 30 to 35-year-old cohort of young women in history?
And men.
Hold on, I'm going to hit play, but I just saw a super chat pop in. Erika Kirk is just flat out unintelligent. What do you think about her being Mortal Kombat Ultra Project gone sideways? Yeah, I actually do. That's a Coach Colin reference. Cool. I watch Coach. Yeah, I definitely. Okay, when you and I would love to answer questions. I have so much that I've learned and studied and watched and read about this. All these different topics, and especially how it applies to TPUSA and Erika Kirk. When she went to the Tesseract school, but she also, raised by the mom that she's raised, the inconsistencies in her ability to recall her past, telling different stories that could either be amnesia from going through one of these programs, or it could be a sign of the success of the program, and that she's lying and twisting these things about her past because the truth isn't going to be good. Also, that she was in a CIA video about EMPs, right? Her mom was working on and near Fort Huachuca. She filmed a video about her being like an assassin sniper at Fort Huachuca. She talks about locking herself in a room for 8 to 9 months to learn scripture. That's just not a normal thing any Christian does. I think that she, at Fort Huachuca, like Stu Peters talked about and others had brought up, that they have this in the intel portion of Fort Huachuca, that they have this, I don't know if it's a battalion, it's army, so it's different, but a group that is taught how to be a Christian so that they could infiltrate Christian organizations, groups, churches, and be like an asset in there, and the same thing happened with, I think, pastors that are in the Calvary Chapel movement. I wonder if any of them know that they were even part of any of these programs and even remember that they got flipped into doing what they were doing, or if they're willing participants in it. I don't know. But I definitely think that there's a high possibility and probability that she was, from a young age, groomed to be some sort of op agent, whether that be always designed that she was, later, once they knew that it was her target was going to be Charlie, or if it was going to be some other person, high profile political figure. And I'm pretty sure that they identify certain men that will be, whether it's politically influential and powerful financially or socially, culturally, men that are going to have influence, straight men, right? So that they could then create these wives, right? And we know that like Russia's done this, China's done this. These wives that will not really be who they say they are, so that these women can control, manipulate, and direct that man in the direction that the government or the agency that trained and created this, Mortal Kombat Ultra wife, in the direction they want him to be going. And that in the event that he goes off script or he does not listen to this Mortal Kombat Ultra wife, they take him out and replace him with her, who will for sure do everything they want her to do. 100%. 100% think that's a high possibility and probability. Obviously, this is speculation. It's my opinion. But if you just look at when Kaddis did a lot of research and, those videos on Erika's past, even her own past points to this being probable. To what degree? Who knows? What agencies or what governments were involved? Who knows? Ours and Philly's, probably. Their, intel agencies and ours, probably, most likely. And we know that Mortal Kombat Ultra never went away. Okay. Just like Project Blue Book never went away. Okay. When they found, right, that something is successful and they found meaningful results from these programs and like this research, they don't do away with it. Okay. It's just once the public finds out about it, once there's hearings on it and declassified documents that comes out about it, they've already moved it to a different corner of the government, to a different black project that nobody knows the name of. They did the same thing with Area 51. When they finally admitted that Area 51 existed, Area 51 was no longer Area 51. Dugway Proving Grounds in Utah was the new Area 51. And they've also sent things, when they finally admitted Area 51 existed, they had already branched off all the research that was there and sent it to multiple different labs, right? And different bases. And most all major research, black project research, is all underground. These deep underground military bases are spread like, ant colonies all throughout the United States. And the same thing is true with like MK Ultra, that once it became, once it became public knowledge, it had already been moved to a new program with a new name. They're not going to stop. It's the same thing that happened with Operation Paperclip. We found out what the Germans were doing, all of the insane studies that they were doing and research. We didn't stop it because they got the research findings. When they also found these projects, they had all of the documentation of the findings and realized, like, holy smokes, they were engineering humanity. They were able to find ways to control and create people to be perfect, pawns, soldiers, weapons. In fact, when they brought Operation Paperclip over here, it didn't phase down, it phased up. All of those scientists came over in conjunction with the scientists we had over here, and they ramped up the research. We did more to our own citizens here post-World War II that most people don't even know about. It's just as bad as the things they did in Germany. Just as bad. I mean, aside from the gas chambers, right? but there was no informed consent to a lot of these people that they were dosing with psychedelics and doing studies on. It's just nuts. A lot of people didn't even know that they were part of Mortal Kombat Ultra. And you look at, like Jolly West, and what's his name? Manson. He was part of it. Okay. And so they knew that they could create these. And so all of the cults and the cult leaders, right? Like the Children of God cult and Jonestown and Manson, all of these men that were these cult leaders were created in the Mortal Kombat Ultra program. And then they were sent out to continue their own version of the program with all of their following, to see what they could get people to do. How could they manipulate behavior? How far will people allow someone to control them and get them to do things that's literally against their own benefit and the benefit of the community that they belong to? And all of that was done, in my honest opinion, on behalf of our intel agencies, the FBI, CIA, our federal government, and they just watched the live results, right? And we know like similar things were done with like COINTELPRO, so that's a tangent, my bad. All right, guys, long show tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. A couple mishaps on the videos and the timestamps, my bad. Won't happen again. Hopefully it was still a very good show for everybody. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe. It's the best way to help support the channel. If you don't want to give any money like super chats or anything like that through YouTube, you don't have to. You can give support to the Black Line Brief through the Venmo here. You just scan the QR code and donate and support that way. Or you can do it here also at buymeacoffee.com/the Black Line Brief. You just scan the QR code and you can do it that way. Just when you do so, just write a note or a memo as to what you would like your money, your support, and donation to go to. And I'll make sure it does. All right. Oh, what up, Jason? You just got here. It's all good. I'll stick around if anyone has any questions or things they want me to say. You could throw some super chats in and I'll answer questions. I'll read them out loud. Anything you want to point me in a direction to, or anything that you've heard of that I haven't heard of yet, you let me know. Let's see. I could even pull up stuff that's going on over here. Let me go here, because I did find stuff on, let's see. Let's go to, we can go to my profile. Let's see. Let me see what I can pull up. Oh, yeah. Check this out, guys. So I am a very small time YouTube channel. It's growing and I'm super proud of it. But in the scheme of things, right, like 11,800 compared to like Zach or Coach or, anyone else that's got a much bigger channel. I'm pretty small potatoes, right? But let me pull this up. Let me show you what happened. And I didn't even know this until today. Oh, cool. We're at 11,908. We're almost to 12,000, guys. That's huge. That's so exciting. We just broke 10,000 like last Friday or something like that. But check this out, okay? Josh Hammer blocked me on X. Josh Hammer blocked me on X. Freaking Josh Hammer. I don't even know how he knows who I am. That's nuts, right? This is what I wrote. I said, cowardice isn't a good look, Josh Hammer. A man with nearly 170,000 followers just blocked a creator with a tiny fraction of his audience. Why? Because I asked questions and I challenged him, because I criticized his claims regarding Charlie Kirk, TPUSA, and Philly, and the people surrounding Charlie Kirk before his death. the self-proclaimed defenders of free speech always seem to support free speech right up until someone disagrees with them. Then the mask comes off. No debate, no answers, no discussion, just a block. If your ideas can't survive scrutiny from a small independent creator, maybe your ideas aren't as strong as you pretend they are. The question isn't why Josh Hammer blocked me. The question is, why is Josh Hammer so afraid, or what is Josh Hammer so afraid of people hearing? This is crazy. I found that out today because I was trying to look up, because when Tucker just said what he said about the Charlie Kirk assassination, like, let's see, I can pull that up too. That just happened. Let me go to my bookmark. Where is Tucker on this? Here it is. All right. Let me hold on. Let me back this up. Let me make it big. Tucker just said this.
Charlie Kirk was murdered.
Yeah.
And he was not murdered for his opinions on transgenderism.
No way.
Obviously. He was, I believe, and most people who knew him well, as I did, and was friends with him as I was, believe he was most likely murdered for his evolving views on Israel. So I get it. A lot's at stake. The world is at stake. But from my perspective, I have a duty to say what I think is true. I'm often wrong. And I always say that because it's a fact. I have been wrong a lot, and I may be wrong now. But I am sincere. I'm saying what I believe is true, and I'm going to continue doing that no matter what. Charlie Kirk was murdered.
And so Josh Hammer did a post on X kind of attacking Tucker about that. And he also said that Tucker is the most dangerous anti-Semite in the world, or in the United States. I don't know, one of the two. Jeremy Boring came out recently and said that Tucker is the most dangerous and most evil man in the United States or the world. I don't know. One of the two as well. And so I was looking up, I wanted to see what Josh Hammer's response was, because Zach showed it. So Zach isn't blocked by Josh Hammer, but I am. I don't know how that works, but all right. I don't know. I'll wear it as a badge of honor. I mean, it's definitely because I've done full-on breakdown videos of him being on the Erin Milan show, and she is a Philadelphian shill. She has Rabbi Wolicki on. She calls Rabbi Wolicki Charlie's rabbi. Wolicki lies on there. And Josh Hammer the same. He goes on there all the time. Ben Shapiro, she attacks Candace. And so, like, I've definitely done breakdowns of like his videos and his appearances on there. I don't know. Maybe he found out about me there. I don't know. Maybe she told him about me. I don't know. Because I wrote a comment on one of her videos and she responded like that and like was all nasty. Yeah, I do wear it as a badge. Let's see. There's, I think, another thing I wanted to share. Yeah, where is Candace and Charlie together in that video? I don't know how long it is though. Is it in my bookmarks? Let's see. So that's that. That's that. Where is Candace? And here it is. All right.
Candace, I think it's been super unfair the way some people have.
Let's play this because I always love playing Charlie and Candace as well. So let's check this out real quick.
I call balls and strikes where I see it. And
That's
Candace,
true.
I think it's been super unfair the way some people have been treating you, and really unfair.
That's Ben.
Look, I know your heart too. I tweeted this yesterday. Candace Owens flew 18 hours through a brutal European connection to go to the embassy opening in Jerusalem, and we toured Israel together. And you and I were on campuses multiple times together defending Israel and defending the Jewish people. So Candace, let me ask you, because not everyone listens to your show, which is excellent. Everyone should subscribe to her show. And I'm afraid that they are diluting and cheapening the term anti-Semitism the same way they've done with racism.
Yep.
There's no question that they've diluted it. People are not even blinking now to be called an anti-Semite.
I'll give some advice. Candace Owens is undefeated, everybody.
And they are deleting everything. And I'll show you what I wrote above this in a second.
Buddy. So be careful. Fighting Candace Owens doesn't end well for you.
Yep.
Candace, God bless. We have your back, and have that baby. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Such a pleasure to always join.
Thank you.
Let's Let's see. Let me pull it up. I reposted. Oh, it'll be on my profile. Let's see. Where did I put it? Let's see. No, that's not it. Here we go. So I reposted John Mappin, who I think reposted Travis Niholo, X on X, who pointed out that their TPUSA is deleting or at least taking off the internet, off like YouTube and stuff, Charlie and Candace's content together. And we showed that when the Hawaii campus proved me wrong event of Candace and Charlie was completely taken off YouTube. And you can't find it anywhere on the internet. So I wrote, if Charlie Kirk's archives are being deleted, edited, or hidden, that's not preserving his legacy. That's rewriting it. Charlie publicly defended Candace Owens and said, be careful fighting Candace Owens. It won't end well for you. He also made it very clear where he stood. I'm not going to stop being friends with Candace. I love Candace. Candace was at my wedding. Why does it now appear that content documenting that history is disappearing? Who authorized it, Erika? Why are Charlie's own words and relationships seemingly being erased from the historical record? The public deserves answers. How dare they? I agree. Well, I wrote that. Of course, I agree with it. All right, guys. I think that is it for tonight. Yeah, let me check. Did I give time for everyone to give a super if they wanted to? Did I catch up? Is this the last one? I think I read this one, right? Erika is flat out unintelligent. Yeah, I read that one. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the like and subscribe. All right. And after the video posts, if you can, please do me a favor and just throw a comment in, just like, great video. Keep it up. Good work. Love it. And then hit the hype for free. It's free. It doesn't cost any money. And it helps the channel. That's the best way to do it. All right. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. I'll be posting a link and thumbnail. Oh, we just got one. It just came in. All right. I'm glad I didn't hop off. All right, if anyone else has got one coming, I'll stick around. I love the interaction part, because when I'm doing my videos, you guys, I don't get to interact with you. Like, your guys are interacting with one another and I'm just doing the show, right? And so I miss, like, if you guys are throwing comments or questions in the live chat, I don't see it. I'm doing the show, you know? And so I miss out on that part of the community that you guys get to participate in and all the time. And really the only time I'd get to do it is during the portion of super chats. And so if you guys have any comments, questions, or anything you want to, this is where I can stay and hang out with you guys and read and answer. Yeah. And so I actually like doing this part. All right. Christ is King indeed says, well, first, thank you for the super chat. And then if the American public doesn't rise up and protest, we will never get our country back. We need to not sit by and let the elite continue to take over. We need to have a heat like Albania. I agree. So I said this, I don't know, a week ago when I did that whole video on the history of Philly and Zionism and their control, and like tied it in with like JFK and Charlie Kirk. They want us to have a civil war. They are trying to get like a race-based left versus right civil war, because they would benefit from that, ladies and gentlemen. We would thin the herd. We would make it easier for them to come then and pick up the pieces and control whoever was left. If they are pushing, and they are through news and through fake false flag, attacks and things, like everything, right? Like the White House Correspondents' Dinner, whatever the plot that just the UFC plot that was foiled, and so many others. The one that happened in Austin. They want us to fight with each other. They've always wanted that. If we need anything, we don't need that. We need a revolutionary war. We need, and a revolutionary war isn't us fighting with one another. It's us fighting against the people that control us, right? For when it was us and Britain, it was like against the monarchy and obviously his army and the military. For us, it would be against our tyrannical government and the elites, which is like our version of like monarchy, right? And this oligarchy that control us, this technocratic elite now that is rising up like Palantir and, Jeff Bezos and, well, also, I mean, like BB's involved there too, but we would need a revolutionary war where we take back our country. I don't want to go to war. I don't want to take up arms. Too many people, too many good people, men, women, children, elderly would be hurt by that. But I definitely think we need to take our country back. And it looks like by the means that we have, the legal means that we have at our disposal, it seems that we can't even do it that way. Like voting, we can't vote for Massey. They bought him out. They bought his opponent into that seat. We thought we could vote Trump in and get our country back. And then they found a way around that, like the Adelsons and the elite found a way to either threaten, blackmail, bribe, or, I don't know, manipulate Trump to do what he's been doing and turn his back on all of us. We have no accountability and justice for the Jeffy Epi files and victims. We're not getting justice for what the JFK files never were fully released. We still don't know the truth about that. Well, I hope this isn't true, but maybe never find out the truth about Charlie Kirk. We may find out about Charlie Kirk the same way we found out about JFK. Like we all pretty much know who was involved in assassinating JFK, but never a public, disclosure from the government, right? No official means of admitting what happened to him. And it just seems like that's going to be the case with Charlie Kirk. And I'm not saying that because I want that. I'm saying that because it looks like that is going to be, they're never going to admit to things that points back to them. All the people that are involved in these things are running the country and the world. They're not going to investigate themselves. They're not going to put themselves in prison. They're not going to hold their friends and one another accountable. It's there to protect itself. They all exist, and this government now exists to protect those criminals and evil people that rule over us. It's nuts. Let's see. Daisy Times. Keep up the great work. Hey, Daisy. Are you? I don't know. I don't know what. Maybe not. Probably not. Right. I don't know. What is Barron's researcher handle? I know it's Daisy, right? Daisy is Barron's researcher, right? What is her handle? Is that you? Or are you just another Daisy? Wait, Daisy Times. I think I saw you on X or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Like your handle is very familiar. I'm trying to remember where I saw that. But thank you for your super chat. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Daisy. Who's that graduating in the photo? I don't know. Well, congratulations, whoever that is, graduating in the photo. All right. Did I get to everything and everyone? Is there anything else? Anyone? We still have 443 people here. Let's see how many likes we got. Did we crush it on the likes tonight? I think we did. The last I looked, we were at like 482. That's good. That's really good, guys. Thank you guys so much for your support in that. It's a team effort. Daisy. Oh, it's your nephew. Okay. Well, congratulations. He looks like he either graduated high school or college, right? Jim Carrey, you think I'm funny? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Julia Pierce. She's the best, Daisy. That's who she is. Oh, okay. Julia, you know Daisy? Daisy and Julia know each other? That's cool. I didn't know that. I know Julia. Well, I don't know Julia, but I know Julia from here. Just Jessica, you're still here. Good. All right, guys. I think that's it. I think we got to everything. Oh, stay tuned. So John Bray's coming on the show next week. That's going to be amazing. I'm going to do the breakdown. I've paid for the membership for the Patreon for the Sean Ryan show so that we will get that episode of Candace Owens and Sean Ryan before anyone, like 3 to 4 days before. And so we'll watch that the day it comes out on Patreon. We'll watch it here. Okay. We'll watch it together. So you won't want to miss that. Stay tuned for that link and that thumbnail. John Bray and Matt Tuzzarone is going to be coming back on. He was feeling under the weather that day, but he has a lot of stuff that he hasn't shown yet, and that we're going to be releasing the receipts on for when he comes back on. And then, yeah, just stay tuned for normal episodes where we're going to continue to go back and look at the Calvary Chapel pastors and Erika Kirk and her behavior and her lies. And yeah, stay tuned for that as well. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much for another great show. Love you guys so much. Thank you for your love and support. God bless you guys so much. You don't know how much all of your love and support means so much to me. And I really do appreciate it. And thank you guys so much. Love you. God bless you guys. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.